thinking about that. So it's like my question to him: why do you care?
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell he's probably in his 20s. Like, dude, why do you fucking care?
I see you in the background, DL. Hold on 1 second. But we're gonna bring up our first. Oh wait. Okay, you setting it up? All right. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready. Okay. So yeah, he had a lot to say, and from a younger perspective, I can see why he's saying it. But since high school, what do you see with high school girls? What are they trying to do? Date the college kid, right? Because it's a status symbol.
Look, I stay away from that shit. Look, all I gotta say, listen, she's a grown ass woman at 21. She could do whatever the fuck she want. If that's my daughter, at the end of the day, that's her life, that's her decision. Any high school conversation, dude, keep me out of it. I'm good. Hey, it is 21, it's fair game. Before that, look, keep your distance, whatever. But why do you care? As a man, particularly as a black man, why do you care?
All right.
See, even there's a comment there.
Which one? Not this one?
No, the other one below it. That's
all right. I'm gonna read this one off real quick. Hold on. Older women and women in general are predators now. The old tropes of men taking advantage of women are arguably not so true anymore. Yeah, they're very in control on what they will or will not do, and they want some change before they even come see you. They want their hair done, their nails done, and other things like that. In some of you guys' situation. So this one said the odd thinking about them being 18 or whatever age. What the fuck? That's odd.
But it's a black man. Black man, we always concerned about what the next man is doing. It's just like, instead of you just minding your fucking business, as long as it's not hurting someone, you always feel like the need to put your 2 cents on everything. And it's just like, dude, shut the fuck up and drive. Like,
okay. Hey, Kiana, in your chat, I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. It's a hyperlink. So all you would need to do is click on the link in the chat, and it should take your phone over to StreamYard so that you can log in through StreamYard, okay? So I'm gonna drop the link. It's in the chat right now, and you should be able to click on that and bring yourself into the room. All right, you ready? All right, we're gonna go ahead and welcome our first guest of the night, DL Saint. Welcome to the chat, my brother.
What's good, brothers? How y'all feeling?
Doing well, man. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
That's what's up. I see you, Devil Dog. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Simplify.
Simplify. Yeah, something wrong with y'all. Something wrong with y'all. But I'm a paratrooper, so wherever I was, y'all were. Wherever y'all were, we were.
So I don't know how much you've listened in on the conversation. It just stems from, is there a difference between hitting a wall as a man, a woman? Do men actually hit the wall since we're actually gaining in our worth and value and resources? Do we, or are we just opting out at a certain age and not even caring about that?
I've been watching this almost from the beginning. I was on a Black Man Travels page at first, and then I saw that you were kind of running and putting up the chat, so I jumped over here. Man, listen, I think you guys are having multiple conversations at the same time. So right, so
hey, I agree with
I'm
you.
not disagreeing.
Right.
Go ahead, Black Man.
No, you're right, because Roland always take multiple topics and merge into one. That's why I was a little confused myself. I'm like,
don't blame me,
has
bro.
to do with this topic. You do this a lot, Roland.
Right, because I'm listening to you guys, and I'm like, all right, so I saw the topic or whatever, and I'm like, okay, they're talking about hitting the wall. So just a little bit about me, man. I've been like YouTube been doing this thing since 2021. I started in that Meadow Swamp Red Pill world. Like I was, you know, one of the guys who would like, I was rocking with Fresh and Fit heavy, and then got to know a bunch of people like met a bunch of folks like Andrew Tate, almost all his people, you know, the Rich Coopers of the world, you know, all this stuff. So I'm over there, and I'm noticing what you guys are seeing, especially to Black Man Travel's point, I'm probably noticing the same thing he's seeing. It's like this isn't about like the wall per se, because the wall is a very specific term in that world. And I've been moving around in that world, so I'm like, okay, if you're gonna talk about the wall, you have to use their definition. We can't use anyone else's definition. We have to use their definition and then start the conversation there.
Okay, so
but to answer your question,
situation, what is that definition? Let's clarify the definition so we can get on the same page as you.
Yeah, and that's what was slowing me down. For whatever reason, man, my computer was acting up, man. It just bogged me down. So I'm just gonna pull it up on my phone real quick. And and let me and I just asked, Chat GPT, or this is actually Google, what does hitting the wall mean? So, and this is what I typed in according to Red Pill metal. Oh, this is my bad. I put in there like, what does the hitting the wall mean in the Red Pill slant manosphere world? So and this is what came back. Within the manosphere, the phrase hitting the wall is almost exclusively applied to women, and that's true. Right? It describes the age-related decline of their sexual market value, SMV. In Red Pill philosophy, this is defined as the point where a woman's physical attractiveness and dating options significantly diminish, usually occurring in her late 20s to her mid 30s and beyond. Right. So that's what they're talking about when they say they hit the wall. Right. And then it ties to fertility and all this other kind of stuff because, but men hit the wall too. Right. So men hit the wall generally later. And it has to do with their physical decline, but more to the point, it has to do with their inability to make money. They're like their bottom line has gone. So the things that we're talking about their world, right? This isn't coming from DL saying this is their world. So in their world, the most valuable person in the sexual market value is a woman in her 20s and a man pretty much in his late 30s, early 40s, because what men want in a sexual, mate is, youth, beauty, fertility, what did Kevin Samuel say? Fit, friendly, feminine. What women want in a man is a dude who can provide, provisioning, protection, resources, guys who can provide experiences, basically dudes who are financially together, socially in tune. They can make them laugh. They know how to crochet. They like puppies, all that bullshit that women say they want. That's what they say, so that's, and it's going to take you a while to get there, right? It's going to take you, you're not going to start getting into your bread until you hit your 30s. I didn't hit six figures until I was well into my 30s. So that's what they're saying about hitting the wall, right? So men do hit the wall as well, but women will hit it first and they'll hit it harder. So if we're using that definition, then Brother Black Man Travels, what you're saying about these young dudes, the incels and whatnot, the weirdos, these silly, these black pillars, these looks maxers, you can't say they hit the wall because they can still turn around.
I never imply that. For one, I was never talking about the younger guys. I was talking about guys our age.
Okay. And then so when you're talking about guys our age, because I'm 55. So I can still go out, just like you say, I can go out, and what I'm seeing in these trenches is the young girls are gunning at me.
Yeah,
I'm just going out doing whatever I'm doing, and you look up and it's way easier. Why is this the case? Because back to Black Man Travel's point, we have so many young men out here who aren't trying. They're just fucking quitters, right? They just quit. They just gave up, and they didn't hit the wall, brother. They just quit. You know what I mean? Old, young, middle, it doesn't matter. They fucking quit. And I kind of, my thing is, I have no data to support this, but I think it's more of the everyone gets a trophy, timeout, participation awards, all that bullshit has made it to where we have, generation after generation of, just losers. I can, it's okay to fail. They don't want to win. When I was in school, in elementary school, when they just tell us to line up, we were all raced to be number one in line. Now, ain't kids like, whatever. So dating, getting out here and figuring this shit out takes work, and no one wants to do the work. And I think that's what's going on. So like I said, I think you guys are having, different conversations. And that's why I was kind of I was in the chat like, wait, what are y'all talking about here? Like, let's define it before we keep going. But it's a great conversation, by the way. Thanks for having me up.
I mean,
oh, no problem.
Even for me, like, you know, I'm 6 feet, 260. I stay in the gym. I make sure I look good, smell good when I step outside. Yeah, I don't have a problem meeting women. But if I were to say, you know what, I'm gonna let myself go, not take care of myself, not continue to try to increase my salary or learn a new skill set, can I still compete if I was single? No, I would hit the wall. And I'll probably be happy to talk to a woman that has 3 kids.
Not true.
That all right. Go ahead, Roland. You got it. Yeah, you got it. Go ahead.
I mean, it's not my fault you can't see it. But
No,
let me put it this way.
The problem is,
let me put it this way. Hold on. You were just talking and then you stopped and said, go ahead. Okay, so what I'm going to say this, just like the brother just said, incels, whatever. Men always have the ability to get back up and thrive. You can fail so many times and still be successful in your later years. A lot of famous, wealthy people didn't start thriving until their mid 40s and up. Okay, so while they might be incels in their 20s and 30s and they're still trying to get it together and they're still mentally bound by what society dictates as successful and other things, they're listening to people like ourselves telling them you still have an option of getting up and still making a way out of no way because you're a man. Women can never fight back to get their beauty again. They're the ones on the declining scale. Yes, they can look pretty. They can't be fertile. They can't do certain things, and they come
disagree.
with death and other things.
I disagree.
Okay, no. Go ahead, Saint.
Your ass, you're not going out, man. I'm sorry.
So let me jump in. Yeah, let me jump in real quick. So using Black Man Travel's example, you saying that you're 44 years old, you let yourself go, like, so now you're fat, you know, you move back into your mom's basement, you lost all your money, right? And you just, at this point, you just gave up at 44 years old. I could say, all right, maybe you hit the wall, but here's the thing. At 50 years old, you can shake back, get all that shit back, get you a condo in South Beach. You know what I mean? You don't even need a Lambo, but get yourself like a nice BMW or Mercedes, right? And guess what? Your condo will be full every weekend with beautiful young women trying to holler at you. You see what I'm saying? Now, same thing for a woman at your age, right? And she doesn't have to lose her job because it doesn't matter about how much money she makes. She doesn't have to lose her social standing because men don't care about that sort of thing. All she has done is lost her youth and beauty, where she's that 44-year-old, 55-year-old woman is always competing with a 22-year-old, 32-year-old version of herself. That woman has hit the wall, and they've used the term because she can't get the attention she used to get. Look at Vivica A. Fox, right? Look at Tyra Banks. I lived in LA for a long time. I live in Central Florida now, but I remember once I met Tyra Banks. I was at a poetry thing, a spoken word thing at her peak, bro. And I'm used to being around beautiful women. I damn near fell down when I saw her. Well, I'm talking about she was beautiful, bro. I would have ran out and man, I'd have headbutted a semi truck to holler at her. That's how fine she was, man. Right now, today, you know what I'm saying? Would I do that today with Tyra Banks? Hell no. Hell no. So they say she hit the wall. Does that mean that she can't get sexual attraction or sexual attention or intimacy from men? Does that mean she can't get men who want her? Nah, that doesn't mean that at all. That means she can't get the 1% men that she was accustomed to being with. She can't get them. That's what they're talking about with the wall. And that's why I was saying, we got to use different terms. Because what Black Man Travels is talking about, I'm with what you're saying. I 100% agree. You got some lame, you know what I mean, from somewhere in America who on a scale of 0 to 10, I use 0 to 10 guys because 5 is the median. So on a scale of 0 to 10, that guy's a 3, but he can go to the Philippines, Thailand, he can go to Brazil or Colombia, and now he's like a 7 or 8 just because when the American dollar is strong, right? He's down there, being with the baddest woman ever seen in his life, but he had to pay for it, right? He's still a lame, right? He doesn't realize he can do the same thing if he had a little bit of game. He can go down there and not spend no money, like, especially in Colombia women to take care of you, right? If you got game, if you know what you're doing. But if you want to go down there and just pay for it, okay, then why even leave? You can pay for it right here. Just go to the nearest little, rubbing tub. Go to the little, you know what I mean? So, massage parlor. My massage to take care of you. You know what I mean? So that's why I say you might have to define the terms a little better. But to your point, no, in your example, you would not have hit the wall as a man because you still have time to turn it around. But if you were 80 years old, I would say it's over. Yeah, but if you were 80, then I'm like, yeah, it's over. So that's the wall.
I still think, let's say a woman who's 45 years old, right? She may not get the man that she probably want, that top 1%, but she could still get a man. If she decide, you know what, I'm gonna go back to the gym. And I've been seeing a lot of transformation videos with older women. Oh my fucking God, man. I'm like, damn.
But fam, she ain't even gotta go back to the gym. Come on now. How many 350-pound women you seen out here with all kind of dudes? Come on now. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, but let's just keep it a buck, man. If a woman has a decent shape, even in her 40s and 50s, she's gonna get a lot of attention.
Okay, but is she gonna get the attention from the men she want the attention from? That's the whole point of the wall.
Well, it depends. Well, it depends on her outlook. If she still want that 1%, or she's now more reasonable, where you know what, hey, I'm gonna find someone that makes decent amount of money, that treats me right with respect, and so forth. Not everyone desire that top 1% that we always like to refer to, man. It's like sometimes they just want just a regular dude, a damn electrician, plumber. Come on, man.
But here's the thing. But he's right though. But
they call that settling. If they go for anything less than what they feel like they demand, they use that word. I'm not going to settle.
What's the percentage?
Now you're 45, 50 years old, and you think you're settling.
Women who actually think like that.
No.
Let's turn off YouTube and let's go out in the street and talk to someone.
Let's talk about natural genetic drive of a woman.
A drive of a woman
is hypergamy. She's always going to want to seek the best result when it comes to genetic and reproduction and the best looking thing. A woman is hypergamous at best. That's
that, man. You're using.
So you're saying that she's gonna go down some. She's never gonna go down, bro.
Said that.
Hold on. Oh, you, brother, Black Man Travels. Are you sure you're not in the Navy? Because I ain't seen a fight like this since I seen the Marines and these Navy dudes going at it.
We do this all the time.
We do this all the time.
Talking points.
I'm not letting them have
okay, listen. There's a big difference when your whole life is on the fucking social media. Like, you stay on YouTube channels. You don't go outside and talk to people. I still go out. I live here in Atlanta. Even though I'm married, I still go out to a bar. I'll still have a social conversation with somebody. I still recognize attractive women regardless of her age. I'm not gonna.
Don't tell yourself now, boy.
No,
don't tell yourself. Don't tell yourself now, boy.
It's all good. I mean, I'm good, man. I'm not gonna cheat on my wife, man. But
good say.
The thing is, people get caught up on these echo chambers on YouTube and TikTok, whatever social media platforms, that don't really take the time to go outside and see how the real world operates. Yes,
he has a good point though, Ronnie.
That at one point used to get that 1%. But guess what? She's probably older now. Then she realized, you know what? Lesson learned. Now I'm more realistic. So therefore, I'm gonna give this plumber, this trash collector, or this teacher an opportunity. And again, is what it is. But my thing is this: you still have women out there still taking care of themselves, still looking great in their 40s and their 50s and even their 60s.
I never said they weren't.
Yes, you did.
Y'all drifted into, but y'all drifted into another conversation.
Yes, I know.
Y'all drifted. But here's the thing, though:
women in their 45, 50 didn't look fine. I said that right off the top. But as far as their marketplace value with fertility and other things that are drivers, they are not. So, and they're more toxic than ever over their 45 to 50-year life. They have lived life. They have been screwed over. They have done and been dealt with multiple times by however many men, and they're going to have mental issues right along.
Have you ever gone to a cigar lounge? Have you gone to a cigar bar before?
Yeah. Here's the deal.
You got to jump
both
in,
of you guys. Both of you guys. Yeah, you guys. Here's the thing. You guys are overlapping. You guys agree more than you disagree with y'all coming from, in my opinion. From what I'm seeing, y'all got a lot of overlap here. It's a lot of overlap here. So, to Black Man Travels' point, yeah, there's some fine older women out there. Yeah, they got their money together. They independent. They don't need no man, right? Until they get into their 40s. And then it's like, I kind of do want to, like, what's the name of old girl? Diana Ross' daughter.
Tracy
God.
Ross.
Yes.
Right. Now,
yes,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. She can go out there with that nice frame of hers, boy. She thick now. Come on now. Like two glazed ham hocks walking around in there, boy. She's keep it right. She could get top tier guys, 1% dudes to blow that back all the way out. Inside out, right? But ain't nan one of them dudes gonna commit. Not nan one. Now, the bus driver, he ain't even really worried about blowing her back out. He's making maybe $95,000 a year, which is more than the national median household income. So he makes more than 2 Americans, but she ain't really gonna want to settle down with him. So you see what I'm saying? Y'all both making really good points. Hypergamy is real. This book right here, this is something, because I go outside too. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to plug the book, but this really relevant to what we're talking about here. Sextinction. Yeah, sextinction has all the stats that we're talking about. You want to talk about, well, because I think Brother Black Man said, well, what's the percentage of women who want whatever? It's in this book, right? And the reals, like the studies are in the book, not just the YouTubers talking, because you spot on about that. All the people, and I love my subscribers, man. I love my day ones. I love the people in these YouTube trenches, but they don't go outside, bro. They don't go outside. They don't go outside. And when they do go outside, guess what? They holler at me when there's no one else around, and they're like, yo, real talk, I ain't trying to run no rotation. I don't want to bang a bunch of chicks. I don't want 3 or 4. I just want one good woman. How do I do it?
Yep.
And I'm like, and I'm like, bro, it starts with you got to know how to have conversations. You got to be charming. You got to know human nature and female nature. You're gonna have to put in some work, fam. I can't give you my life experience, you know what I mean, in a 45-minute video, 3-hour video, or I give you a course. I mean, I got to write the shit down, but you got to learn, you got to do the work. So like I said, you guys it's a lot of overlap there. Like, but what Brother Ronan is saying, hypergamy is real. And women don't say, oh, I'm past it now, so I'm going to go ahead and get the bus driver. You know what I'm saying? Because you look at, what's her name, was like, I wouldn't marry the bus driver unless he owned the bus.
Ebony K. Williams.
Ebony K. Williams. And she had a 0.001% dude that she was messing with the whole time. I know a little bit about her situation in real life. I know people that, that know her, right? And she couldn't get him to commit, right? And then instead of getting the bus driver, what did she do? She went and bought some sperm and had her own baby.
Yeah.
So what is that if that's not hypergamy running to its eventual end? Hypergamy doesn't make sense. It's the technology that hurt us more than anything else. Women believe that they're entitled to this guy. You know what I mean? And Brother Black Man, the fact that you're over 6 feet puts you in the top 15%, which means women to talk to you just based on your height. She would deny 85% of the available men because they under 6 feet, and she 5'0". You know what I mean? Anyway,
here's the thing. Both of us sitting on this panel, and I'm sure everybody sitting on this panel has never had a problem with a woman. So our experience is different from most of these young kids that are sitting here listening to us. I'm 6'2". I've always been tall, and I've always been in good shape up until I got older and started getting hurt because of that military service. But at the end of the day, I've never had a problem with a woman. So I don't have the same lived experience as a lot of people that we're talking to when it comes to being an incel or being raised the way they were raised or uncomfortable with being able to go outside. Hell, when you grew up as Generation X, there wasn't much that you can do on the internet. You had to go outside and play. You had to go outside and invent things. You had that piece of paper and a pen in your pocket where you had to, let's go play the numbers game. How many numbers can you get while you're at the roller rink type of shit going on? And you learned your craft. You learned how to talk. You learned how to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And you learned how to take no's as just, okay, it's a no. It's a numbers game. I'm going to keep pushing until I find yeses. And then I'm going to figure out what I said to get that yes. And that's going to make me get yeses a lot faster, just like sales. It's not personal. It's a numbers game. But that's not their experience. So I'm drawing from my experience at 58, and these guys at 20-something and 30-something don't have that same lived experience or life experience because things are way too convenient with the internet. It's now a global dating scene, not a local dating scene where you're only dealing with city and maybe county women. You're dealing with global.
I have
That's
a question for
big
DL.
difference.
I have a question for DL Saint.
Sir.
When your clients talk to you about, hey, how can I do better to actually attract someone? Do you recommend, hey, there's certain things you probably need to change about yourself? Do you recommend those things, or do you try to like give them the high hopes like, hey, just go as you are and everything's gonna be easy? Just use these talking points.
The first thing I say to them, the first thing I ask them is, what's your mission? That's the very first thing that comes out of my mouth. When they say something like that, okay, what's your mission? And they're like, huh? Because most people ain't been in the military. So I'm like, all right, what are you trying to do? Like you said, you didn't want to run a rotation. You didn't want the wild girls. You're trying to look for the quote unquote good girl. So what does that mean? What is the end game? And he's like, well, I'm trying to find someone I want a wife. I say, okay, that's what you want to do. Okay, I can help you do that. Wanting a wife and just want to go out here and smash chicks are two different missions, and they don't overlap much. Yeah. They're two different ways of doing business, right? So once they tell me that, then we get into the stuff that you're talking about, Brother Black Man. And no, I don't tell them, oh, just be yourself, go up and say hi. It's way more than that. It's like most of the time I got to tell them up front. And this is a one-on-one conversation, maybe just a few of them. I'm like, hey, real talk, guys, y'all you weird as fuck, man. Like, what you doing with your hair, bro? Like, what you wearing? And they're like, well, I can't afford designer clothes. It ain't about designer clothes, man. So I'll do things like I'll take them to Burlington Coke Factory. I'm like, you got $200? Yeah, I got $200. We go in there. We're going to come out of there with a suit, couple pair of jeans, some socks, you know what I mean, and match. I'm going to start showing them how to. It's the shit that my people did for me when I was little. They didn't get that, bro. They didn't have an older brother, cousin, uncle, dad to show them how to do that. They wouldn't own the block. Right. They wasn't on the block listening to people talk shit. That's one of my acronyms, ABTS. Always be talking shit. If you getting some groceries, be talking, chat up the lady. I don't care if she's 90 years old. I don't care if she's 19. Just start talking shit. Be respectful, but work on your craft. Work on your game. They never got that. We was outside. You know what I mean? You had to go talk to shorty. You had to go holler at her. You know what I mean? Because your boys looking at you. You better going over there. Better going over there. Right. They didn't get that. So, and again, like the red pillars, most of the dudes in the red pillars are just pissed off because, they didn't get any traction. It is easier to be mad at the women. It's easier to be mad at society than it is to look in the mirror at the motherfucker looking back at you and be like, it's your fault. Right? Now I need to get better. And again, they don't know how to win. I'm a fucking winner. I'm airborne. I'm the best of the fucking best, above the best, right? That's how much shit we talk. Marines talk all that shit too. They devil dogs. You know what I mean? Air Force, Navy, everybody, football players. Nobody has that swag in these younger generations. Well, very few of them have that swag. Right? They don't understand the game. Like the PJ Washington dude, there's no way he should have got caught up with an old girl. No way. But he had nobody around him to tell him the game. Like, bro, Brittany Renner. Like, bro, you didn't see that video? I'd have been, if I knew him, I'm like, man, you didn't see that video when she was in the locker room, you know what I mean, at Jackson State or wherever she was, or Colorado, talking about I got more checks in my DMs than Nike. The fuck? You like, what are you doing?
And here's the thing, there was no shame in her saying that she take money for like that. That there is no shame in the game of females when it comes to them taking money from men. They don't care.
It's the game, baby. It's the game.
Don't hate the players in the game. But the whole thing is they have honored the ratchetness of the game so much. They made all these women delusional and believe that that's going to go on for everybody. Real quick, let me introduce Frontier, Financial Frontier. My brother, also a U.S. Marine.
Oh, outnumbered.
What's good?
Yeah, you surrounded there, Airborne.
Hey, I got something for both of you Marines right here. I got something for you. Y'all gonna love this.
Hey, this is my rifle. Many like it, but this one is mine.
This one is mine. Yes.
Yes, sir. Hoorah, Super Fidelis.
So what you got on this, Frontier? I know you're going to turn it into money and who gives a fuck and all this shit, but what you got?
Whoa. Don't put me in a box, my brother. It's cold-blooded. Hey. Nah, man. Black Man Travel was speaking the facts. He was vibranium. I want to know if he's from Wakanda. Like, he was definitely laying down the information. Most people go touch grass. And it's not even also talking about grass. You got an advantage also being an internet individual. I mean, like, you guys were saying, hey, we're outside. These guys are outside. Well, they should be thriving online then, because it's mad upside. You could talk to anyone from anywhere in the world. And there's a lot of girls, especially if you're coming from America. Yeah, a high value man almost in majority of countries, just because you just make more economically speaking, right? But you still need other characteristics to complement it. But so I don't want to hear about the girls being able to be on Instagram and talk to any guy. Most of the guys in the world are broke. Like, net worth is really concentrated in a select few. It gets worse when you go overseas. Those guys are allowed to have like 10 girls. And they all got like condos and penthouses. Like, it ain't easy nowhere. It's never been easy for men. So y'all sound like if it was easier beforehand, and it wasn't, it's never been.
Thank you.
If you was lucky to make it back from World War I, World War II, or Vietnam, maybe you got the top pick, Becky, when you got back, if you made it back. But there was other military members who got those awards on their chest. And now y'all are fighting for the same small few select women in your neighborhood or in your community. If you made it back. And Jody, who stayed behind, he was doing something with it while y'all was gone.
Racking them up.
So, I mean,
ain't no use in going home. Jody got your girl and gone.
Exactly, right? So y'all got the same advantages. There's always this disadvantage. If you look around, there's more advantages. And so I think a lot of people are just not seeing that, and they're just getting to complain. And then you get in this filter and this bubble where we all get to complaining, and then we all got talking points. And as even DL Saint said, most people are going to blame the world, blaming external, instead of just turning in. And that's on both sides. So I think that's the problem. And as much as somebody could say women's hypergamy is out of hand, true, but women's deal making for relationships is out of hand too, because it can only exist on a two-way street. You can only the girls can only bargain deals with guys who are making a concession. So if you pedestalize what the women has to offer, then you're going to be in a predicament, period. Economic transaction or otherwise, right? If I come to the table and I got the house and I know you want my house more than anything, you'll end up looking like Austin, where people were coming down from Cali saying, hey, I'll pay $200,000 over asking price, no contingencies. You want it so bad, so I'm going to sell it to you.
Yeah, no contingency, no inspection.
No inspections, no appraisals, no nothing.
Oh, nothing.
And there was one thing where somebody said they'll name their firstborn child after the seller if they gave them the property.
Yeah, back then, that was about 3-4 years ago. People were just
3-4 years ago, and guys sound like that in the dating market.
That's crazy work. And how can you be that desperate to buy a house like that?
Well, hey, guys are desperate like that in the dating market. I don't need no prenup. And guess what? I'll change my name to you, girl. Shoot, marry me. So men are almost the new women now. And that's just because they're poor at making deals. Doesn't mean that they still don't have the values, and they just don't value their own values. They don't value their own, value that they bring to the table in the deal.
Yeah, I said that earlier. You got to have the understanding of who you are and the value you bring. And if you don't understand that, you're always going to be taken advantage of.
But back to what I said initially, what really drove me to this conversation. This is a great conversation. I love everywhere it's going. But when we're talking about the wall, brother Black Man Travels, where are you now on do you agree that we're kind of, what you're talking about isn't the same as what they have termed the hitting the wall? Or do you still not see that part?
Well, the thing is, I always knew what hitting the wall was based on manosphere talking points. I always understood that part. However, I try to take it and spin it towards us as men. Can men hit the wall? And I'm looking at what I'm seeing out there. It's like, yes, we could hit the wall based on our finance, our looks, our health. There are other factors that plays into it compared to what women will go through, but we still hit the wall. Some of us hit the wall a lot sooner than later. But to say that, hitting the walls just only applies to women, I disagree. I think that men hit the wall as well. Once you start losing ambition, you decide to let yourself go, and you decide not to do nothing with yourself, you hit the wall. You kind of settle with yourself like, hey, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to compete. I don't want to move. I don't want to do anything. So guess what? You hit the wall. And
I think you should just call that something else, because it's confusing. Yeah. Because men do hit the wall.
I call that aging out. You're just done with the game.
No, I disagree. That's not even aging out. Again, because historically we take hitting the wall applying to women historically. However, I took it as like, okay, does this apply to men? Yes, but in a different way. So can men hit the wall? Yes, but not in the same way as a woman would based on her looks and her fertility. No, but it could be for men, it could be fucking low sperm count, prostate issues, whatever, health issues, finance, education, his looks. It could be other factors. But to say
that is not hitting the wall, that's a medical condition.
Again, I'm not taking the fucking term literally as hitting the wall, but can men hit the wall? Yes, in a different way.
So men can never retire. They got to go 100% up until the day they die. They don't never get the chance to step back and relax.
I know a lot of men who are retired
enjoy
in their 50s.
The wealth and all the prosperity they
provided for everybody else. I know a lot of men who are retired in their 50s are still pushing themselves. Yeah, still trying to be the best version of themselves. They ain't just give up. It's like, oh, I'm done. So I'm about to like just drink beer all day and enjoy whatever life I have left. I'm not.
I mean, just call them. I would call them dropouts. I would call them dropouts. I would come up with a different term, because if you bring that up, you would spend so much time like we have just trying to define it, and because it's two different things. I think you're really talking about the guys who just, I mean, they never got into the race. I don't think a guy who's never gotten into the race can actually hit the wall. He never started. He never built a boat. You know what I mean? Like, he never got out there. He didn't get a chance to sink. It's like, oh, these guys are sinking. Yeah. But the guy who never even left the ground, left the, you know what I mean, left the shore, shit, I ain't gonna say he sank. You didn't even build a boat. You just a quitter. So I think that there's a, you know what I mean, like there's that distinction there. And there are, and I agree with you, brother. There are, I believe there are way too many guys out here who haven't even tried. And it's funny when you do talk to some of these guys and they figure it out. Because one of the things I do tell them after we get their fashion together, teach them about cologne. You know what I mean? Teach them how to invest in themselves. And, you know, you got to be smart. You got to be well-read. You got to be a whole bunch of other shit, right? One of the things I tell them, like, you got to be good at something, bro. And they're like, well, all I do is play video games. Like, are you good at it? They're like, well, I'm pretty good. I'm like, well, start getting into some tournaments. Start going around, you know, and competing and winning shit with this video game thing. And they're like, why? I'm like, go to an event.
Sponsorships, teams, all the other stuff.
Even sponsorship teams, yeah. But more to the point, women. There are some beautiful, nerdy girls who game. Right? Beautiful. Go in there, now you can holler at them. Now you know how to talk, now you know how to be social. It ain't about getting your award, your trophy, your medal. It's there so you can holler at that beautiful chick right there. Right? It's teaching you different angles to get, again, your goal is to find you a good woman. You want to find a woman who's, you know, you done found this nerdy chick who doesn't go out. She doesn't have an Instagram, thirst trapping and all that shit. She just into games. You love games. Man, y'all off and running. This is the types, this is what blows my mind. I'm like, y'all don't know this shit? I wish I could play video games, man. I'd be all, LA had one. I stumbled on the one once. I was just out at Staples Center and they had some national video game competition. They had like pro gamers and teams. Man, it was like being at a concert, bro. It was dimes everywhere. I was like, I need to be
nothing like a good nerdy girl. Nothing like a good nerdy girl.
Man. But this is what I mean. So they're not hitting the wall, brother. I believe the guys you're talking about, they're not hitting the wall. They're just quitters. They just, you know what I mean? They're lames, they're losers, whatever you want to call them. You know what I mean? That's how I look at them.
I kind of get what he's saying, and I would agree with Black Man Travels. I always think it's a two-way street. But, you know, with the space, Black Man Travels, you're going to have to learn every time. You say anything and you're not talking to a talking point, their minds can't go beyond the talking point.
That's why
they're like, wait, no, it don't apply. Hypergamy is only for women. Look up the definition. You prove that it's sexual capital also. Like fertility and youth. These things are hypergamous and men seek it from women. But they can't understand. It's only one way. That's all they heard. And that's what it is. They're going to die on that hill. So you got to just go talk to the ones that will listen. And I think hypergamy applies to both. You can mention it with a guy who gets married and then he falls off. I was talking to one guy and I was telling him like, yeah, I'm going to the gym. I got the 6-pack. And he's like, I don't need that. I got a wife. He hit the wall. Yep. Your wife don't like 6-packs no more? No, she like my teddy bear body. Yeah, all right. You could think that. But once I walk past her, she going to look. And she gonna feel something. She's not gonna cheat on you. She just appreciates it. But he's thinking, I don't have to do that. I got my girl.
Yep.
And so he hits the wall. And so the wall exists in many shape, forms, or fashion in both ways. And most guys just keep it low frequency. If you're talking about looks, that's where they're usually saying, like, right, the girl gets ugly as she gets old and stuff. Well, let's go with that. That's why you guys suck at picking a mate. You so hyper focused on the looks with all human beings that you fail to look past the character. So that's why y'all busted and disgusted and distrusted in these relationships, because you keep prioritizing the looks over every single else. So you hit the wall in your selection. You can't even see nothing. That's why you get the results you get.
And that's why I try to like really spin it. I mean, again, if you go based on the literate definition, then yeah, it doesn't really apply to men. But if you were to take a subjective approach to it, yes, men can hit the wall. And everything what Financial Frontier just said is basically what I was trying to convey. But again, we so stuck on the literal term that, it doesn't apply to men. Yes, it does. Men decided to say, you know what? Fuck it, I'm done. You hit the wall.
I call that failure. I don't call it hitting the wall. I just call it failure.
I wouldn't even call that a failure.
Because men always, like we were talking about earlier, have the ability to get back.
You're taking the literal term.
And I just said, I don't call it hitting the wall. I call it failure. Women can never recoup that age and that fertility and all the things that make that word valuable. Yes, because that's the way the term is used.
Man.
But let me read these super
we're all educated people here. We could take something and make it more subjective, right?
We can go abstract all day long. We can go abstract all day long. Let me read these real quick. Jay Kaysen, salute to you, brother. I appreciate you jumping in. You know, you're telling the secrets. I gatekeep for years. So you guys are speaking a lot of facts, and he agrees with a lot of the things that are being said in here. And obviously, hey, this is what we're here for, you know, to speak the truth to situations and not necessarily gatekeep as much. All these men are well traveled and experienced in life and lived life, not just life and reading a book. This is applied knowledge. You get what I mean? So, and salute to Just John. Hey, brother, it's nice to see you. I'm glad everything is going well for you. And then he said, wall don't exist for women. There's always going to be a simp. What do you guys have to say about the simps?
I don't usually do friendly fire to another Marine. I love you, my brother, but
you can say whatever you want.
You can't say the failure part. That's not even true. Everybody fails. I fail a business. That don't mean I hit the wall. I learn from my failures, and failures are part of the success. So you can't
brother Financial Frontier.
It's failure. Go ahead.
But brother Financial Frontier. No, but you're saying if you fail, but you continue to push forward, right? That's not hitting the wall. And I agree with you.
Hitting the wall.
But if you fail and then you quit, and I got another soundbite for you Marines. I got a couple Marine soundbites. I know you. But if you quit,
let me hear.
That's not. Quitting is not hitting the wall. Quitting is fucking quitting. Right? This is quitting.
Are you quitting on me? Well, are you? Then quit, you bloody fucking walrus fucking piece of shit. Get the fuck off of my obstacle.
That's quitting. That's not hitting the wall. Private Powell did not hit the wall. He fucking quit, and they squared him away. Hoorah.
You know what?
Right?
You know what?
Nah, he hit the wall. He deleted himself. So that's hitting the wall.
But he made it.
And majority of men are doing that. And majority of men are doing that.
Financial Frontier, thank you for saying that. Oh my God.
Majority of men are homeless.
Deleting yourself, I would argue that deleting yourself is quitting at the absolute highest level. You still quit. He made it.
You don't think that's hitting the wall? I think that's the ultimate wall.
Quitting. That's quitting.
That's bigger. That's a bigger wall. That's not quitting. That's a bigger wall than goddamn women.
That is quitting. That's my whole point. And that's I guess
they can't give life no more. You can't live life no more. Those are two big different things. That's the ultimate wall.
To overcome that one obstacle, so you decide to kill yourself. So that's literally quitting. I mean, hitting the wall.
But
you said it right.
I mean, here's the thing. It is literally quitting.
I don't hold on, Ronan. If you quit, are you still alive? Yes. If you delete yourself, you're not alive. Come on, guys. I mean, come on. Let's not try to.
But Financial Frontier, truly honest. You can't say any person of a reasonable mind
That's quick.
would actually put or do whatever they need to do to kill themselves. There's a mental component that goes along with that, whether it be by trauma or something else.
Not necessarily.
Some men don't want to be burdens, so they decide to opt out than be a burden.
But it becomes
It's
a
not
burden.
ultimate wall.
It's basically them saying they don't want to be a obligation to somebody else.
Okay, you know what?
So they sacrifice themselves.
One second.
Say somebody loses a limb. I'm going to tell you this. Real talk. Before you get this out. Real talk. I had a death pact in the Gulf War. If I got injured to a certain point, I had a death pact with my buddy. He had the same death pact with me. If I got injured to a point where they were going to try to save me and it looked like I was going to be, just put a bullet in me.
Oh, that's two different scenarios, man.
No, I did not want to come back and be a burden to somebody.
You always do that.
But
Stop it, man.
That's the whole thing about war. You have extreme.
Let's take a step back. I want to use a Financial Frontier example about the married man that he decided, you know what, I'm married now. I'm gonna let myself go. Fuck it. You know what? I'm not gonna go try to, I got fired. I'm not. Fuck it. I'm done. I'm not gonna be looking for another job. Is that not hitting the wall? A man decides, you know what, I'm not gonna go take care of myself, and now my woman has to put up with my bullshit. That's not hitting the wall.
You quit, and you're still breathing. You're still there's life in your lungs. There's breath in your lungs. At some point, you can get your shit squared away. You can turn around at some point.
But
I think that quitting.
But I think that moment is hitting the wall, right?
That's just it's quitting. When
It's
you know what I mean?
quitting.
Like when if I get cut,
I got you, DL. I got you, DL. Though
I agree with DL.
I got you. Because wait, hold on, DL. Watch DL. I got you. I don't mean to cook you, so I'm gonna put down the utensils and turn down the flame real quick.
We all men here.
No. You said quitting. You still alive, right? You just said that. You was like, hey, if you quit, you still alive and you're still breathing. You said that, right? But then when I said death is the ultimate wall, where you're not living and you're not still breathing, y'all said that's quitting still.
Is there a difference between a massive heart attack and someone putting a bullet in their head? No, is there a difference between dying of a massive heart attack and dying by your own hand?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, there's a big difference.
And I
there's a huge difference.
It's a huge difference if someone killing you and you decide to put a gun in your head. Yeah, there's a big difference.
Right. So again, quitting. Oh, go ahead, Ronnie.
But that's hitting the wall.
No, and I said this earlier. I don't know if you guys were here where I equated, committing harikiri was an honorable way to quit in Japan with honor versus, living in shame or shaming your
moment.
feelings.
But at that very moment, when you decide to quit, you hit the wall.
I hear what you're saying. I just don't agree with that assessment. And Jay Carson, yeah, bro, I know what you were talking about. You were saying you were gatekeeping the tournaments. No, that's one of the biggest secrets people ain't on, bro. When I was talking about going to those gaming tournaments and going to those cons, oh Lord. But anyway, back to this topic. I don't agree with your assessment. That's all. A quitter, right? If you delete yourself, right? That's not hitting the wall. Hitting the wall means no matter what I do, I can't continue to perform at the level I used to perform at. Right? That's how I take that meaning. Like for women, like again, Tyra Banks. I cannot compete with my younger self. I can't get the same results I were getting, even though I'm trying like hell to do it. That's hitting the wall, right? That's how I look at it. As opposed to, like offing yourself, that's just the ultimate form of quitting. I'm such a piece of shit. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm trying not to use those words because I don't want to get, get us in trouble with YouTube, but I'm gonna delete myself. To me, that's the ultimate way to quit. You feel me? Like just quit. Otherwise, you can stay, do the work, do what everybody on this panel is saying, do the work, and you can come back from that. You can shake back from that. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? What's the name? Michael Vick went through that bullshit with the dogs. He didn't quit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He kept going and he came back. Right? So a lot of people will say, well, when they locked him up and kicked him out of the NFL, he hit the wall. I won't say, I don't think he hit the wall, bro. He had to deal with some bullshit, but he kept fighting. He didn't quit. He didn't stay there. He came back to finish his story, then came back to the league and did what he did. You know what I mean? I think there's a difference.
Why
Maybe I
couldn't
can-
Tyra Banks though? Why couldn't Tyra Banks come back?
Let me tell you
She
this.
tried.
This is why.
She tried to come back. She just couldn't get the dudes that she wanted. She was still getting dudes though.
Right.
I mean, she was still getting guys. She was
So-
still getting exceptional men. She
So-
just
Let
couldn't
me
get the ones
let me
she
let
wanted.
me let me add to that real quick, financial, before you follow up.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think hitting the wall to me is something that's unavoidable. For a woman, it's unavoidable. There's not much she can do to get around hitting her wall based on the definition. For men, you're quitting more than just there's no way for you to avoid hitting the wall. You just quit. You have a way out. You can go over, you can go under, you can go around the fucking wall. Women have no obstacle to go around that fucking wall. You're going to hit it. It's just a matter of time for a woman.
Yeah,
For a
but you know
man,
what?
he has options to get around the wall. So in that respect, it's called quitting because
But
you're choosing to hit the wall
that same
and
woman
allow that to affect your life and
that
stop
same
you.
woman that can no longer get that top 1%, she can get the 10%. She could probably
That's not what she wants.
But
And that's the whole point.
don't-
That's not what
we
she
don't
wants.
know
Yes,
what
you're
she
right.
wants.
She
We don't-
can.
we
No,
don't
we're going
know.
on the premise that
we don't
we're
know
going on
what
the
she
premise.
wants. However,
Wait,
she-
did they say Lauren Sanchez? What did she get? Jeff Bezos?
Lauren
or something?
Sanchez. Yeah.
Hell
They're
yeah.
always
There you
outliers.
go.
And shout out to her. Shout out to Dirty Sanchez, man. She a real one. Shout out to her. Because Jeff Bezos is a fool, in my opinion. But he was in love. She got him. Good for her. I ain't mad
But
at
the
her,
thing
bro.
is,
And men do
how
hit the
many
wall,
women-
though. Men
okay.
do hit the wall as well.
But the thing is, how
And
many
average
women
women do that. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
No.
Black man.
No. Finesse Frontal, you made a point. How many average women are still able to at least get the top 20, 30% of men? And that we say, hey, they hit the wall, but yet they still may be able to still back that type of person. You just never
But
know.
again, you got to understand, bro. Here's the deal. Almost every woman from the 4s up to 10s, no matter what age they are, if they got that body and everything, they look like, that the Sister Ross or whatever, you know what I mean? They could get the dick, right? But they want the relationship. We're talking about getting a relationship. And to your point, she's like, okay, here's a woman who's a 5. Let's say she's a median, right? Half the women are finer than her and half the women aren't. Hypergamy says she wants the absolute best. Okay, so she wants, and you're saying, how do we know that? We're just going to accept that, right? Just for the sake of this argument. She wants the absolute best. She wants the 1%er, but she can't get the 1%er, but she gets a 10%er. Okay, is she going to be happy? Sure, she'll be happy with the 10%er, right?
For a minute.
But she'll still be happy with the 10%er. But honestly, she really should be down there with a 70%er because that's where she is, right? Because
Yeah,
that
but the thing
10% are
is-
gonna get tired of her too. So she's gonna wind up falling down to her level. And that's all that is. But she still,
but-
men don't have that. It's different for men on the other side of that.
But we speak as though women, a lot like a high percentage of women want the top the top 1% of men. That's not the case.
There's a lot of studies out there. That's why I said sextinction, man. Don't take my word for it. The pros, this neurosurgeon here who wrote this book, and she studies, human sexuality. That's what they put. It's in there. Like the work, the stats are in there. They show their work. But here's the thing. I'm hypergamous as hell. Never in the history of ever have I gone to a car dealership and say, give me the most random, shittiest car you got. I want the best.
Facts.
Right? Never in the history of ever have I ever gone into a room full of women and start hollering at the bottom of the barrel. I spend the first 10, 15 minutes trying to figure out what the finest women are, and then I start there. I'm working my way down. I'm hypergamous as fuck. You know what I mean? So I don't have a problem with hypergamy.
But the average person is not.
The average person wants to go in, like, you're gonna go into the Ford and say, give me the shittiest car, and I'm gonna pay the highest price for it.
I'm not using the reference of car vehicles. I'm talking about women. The average
Yeah, they
male
do that.
is okay in getting the average female.
The average
Or
male will
lower.
get whatever he can get. Men get what they can
Yeah.
get. Women tend to get what they want until they hit the wall.
Lying to me.
That's the whole point of that concept.
I still think they get what they want when they hit that wall.
Yeah.
With-
And then also they change what they want. Like look, if women,
But everybody can.
and that too, so they could get it and then they don't want it no more. That's why they say they often think the grass is greener on the other side. That's why they always leave relationships. So I think it's switch. You know, I deal with a lot of women who like me at one point, and then they're like, yeah, you're rah, 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 you're cool, 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 but I don't like it anymore. They move into a different phase of their life.
That's what
And so at one point they got what they want, and I mean, cool. It was cool traveling across the world, doing all this cool stuff. But after a while, they're like, nah, I want more stability, and I want it to look like this. And I want more power in the relationship. Like, they could just change. And so it's not really about what they want. It's just about, do they get the things that they want? And if they change it later, they change it. But at the end of the day, they get it. And they want something else. So I don't think they hit the wall. They just shift it. Shift gears, go in different directions. Don't listen to what they say. Just watch what they do.
We got to do that as well. But go ahead, bro.
I got a video, and Joyce Myers put this out in her sermon, and it's called The Husband Store. Listen to the mentality of women. And women know this for a fact.
And you can go there and shop for a husband. There's 6 floors in this store. You can only visit each floor one time, though. And each floor you go up, the value increases. You may choose any item from any particular floor, but you can go up a floor, but you cannot go back down. So there was a woman who went to the husband store to find herself a husband. On the first floor, the sign on the door read, "These men have jobs."
Hey.
That sounded good. These men have jobs. Floor 2 says, "These men have jobs and love kids." Floor number 3 said, "These men have jobs, love kids, and are extremely good looking." Wow, she thought, this is sounding pretty good, but I'm compelled to go on to the next floor.
Exactly.
Well, she does go to the 4th floor, and the sign reads, "These men have jobs, love kids, are drop-dead good looking, and they help with the housework." "Oh, mercy me," she said, "I can hardly stand it." Still, she said, "I've got to go on." She went to the 5th floor. "These men have jobs, love kids, are drop-dead gorgeous, help with the housework, and have a very strong romantic streak."
She's saying that politely.
But she couldn't stand it. She decided she had to just find out what was on floor number 6.
Jesus.
Floor number 6 said, "You are visitor 31,456. To this floor, there are no men on this floor. This floor exists solely as proof that women are impossible to please."
And I play that because women, after they get to a certain age, are going to be impossible based on their lived experiences and where they rate themselves as being in the hierarchy of life, going to be impossible to please.
Yeah, but that doesn't apply to all women, man.
Nothing, but we just generally speaking, though, can we say generally? Like, okay, let me ask you this, brother. Let's make up. We are making up numbers here. We're not going to hold anyone's feet to the fire. We are just making up numbers here, guys. Black Man Travels, and then we'll go to Brother Financial, and then we'll go to Brother Ronnie. What percentage of women do you think are hypergamous?
I think 100%.
Okay, Brother Financial.
I'll say 95. I'll leave it out.
95.
There you go.
Brother Ronnie.
I do the same thing, about 97.8%. Not 100%.
And fuck it, I'm gonna go with Black Man. I'm gonna say 100%. I'm gonna go with Black Man, but we all agree that it's real, right? That women gonna want this, real. Right? Yeah. So we get so here's the thing, like especially with, I wish the sister that told that story, I wish she had used the crowd before she went to the next floor. Have the crowd say, "Hey, should we go up one more floor?" and have them clap, so you can see all the women be screaming, "Yeah, go up, yeah." Just to let you know that women are hypergamous like that, right? And then I don't know if you guys ever heard the wife story. The wife store. Let me know. I'll tell you that if y'all ain't heard that. But no. my point is,
I haven't heard that one.
Okay, we'll go around. Don't let me forget to tell you.
I'm gonna use that one. Yeah, I'm gonna use that
but
one.
my point is this, right? Hypergamy is real, and left unchecked, women can hurt themselves. And when women get to that final floor, and it's like, you fucked up, ain't no more men, right? You know, or you get to that point where it's like, you didn't lock down the guy, the one that you really had. Now you hit the wall, you're past it, and these dudes them type dudes don't want you anymore, right? That's what they're talking about. That's the problem. And how do we fix that? I mean, I don't know, but I don't set the rules of the game. I just got to play it like everybody else. You know what I mean? But real quick, I'll do the wife story.
Yes,
and I heard
please,
this. I can't take credit from this. This came from Myron Gaines. I can't take credit for this. I don't know where he got it from, but same thing. You know, same store. Men get to go in there. You can only go in, and you can't go back to another floor. You can only go up to the floors, right? So to go into the first floor, you get there, and like all these women are beautiful, and they love to have sex. Okay, that's cool. Go up to the second floor. All these women are beautiful. They love to have sex. They love to cook. They love to clean. They'll work if they have to. They love sports, and they just want to. If they choose you, they're dutiful wives, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's on the other floors because no man has ever made it past floor number 2.
Exactly. Exactly. Because we know what we want, and we're not delusional about it.
I'm pretty delusional, but y'all ain't just ain't go to the next floor. Now, see,
I ain't leaving floor 2, bro. I'm good. I'm good with that. She like the Bengals.
Yeah, that's cool.
Come on, baby. We out of here.
There you go.
We're getting married.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just a supply and demand thing. Everybody's humans at the end of the day, and it's just y'all can't live. Most men, not talking to y'all on the panel, y'all haven't lived in abundance. At abundance, it's the same thing. When you have a lot of options, it looks crazy to somebody who's getting into real estate that you didn't accept that deal. But for somebody who has massive amounts of assets, he say, look, I'm very specific about my deals. I got options. I live in abundance. So what seemed good to one person don't look good to the next person. And women are in abundance like that. I don't know if y'all know what a girl's life is when she walk out that damn door. Men are thirsty. Highly thirsty. I'm talking excessively thirsty. Yeah. She hears everything. Man, she opened up a Tinder. She could be a 4. It's about to be 3,000 guys up on her swipe. Yep. That is the reality. It's not even hypergamous. It's called options. They got choices, and a lot of them. And so when you have so much choices, your criterion, your filter starts to stack. You're like, well, I don't like the way you wear that hat. Now it sounds crazy. Like, really? The way he wear a hat? You got so much options. It's like, bro, that's just my filter. I really just don't like it. So I think a lot of times it's not a conversation of supply and demand, and that needs to be understood when you're looking at that hypergamy or quote unquote women never being happy. They got so much options, man. It's ridiculous. And so what you see is a never ending thirst. You just ignoring it's literally the supply and demand. They have massive amounts of abundance. That's why they choose like the way they choose.
Here's the thing, bro. And this is something I believe. Well, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
If you find a woman that is really into you, you know, all the red pill talk and all the blue pill talk and all this bullshit, whatever, don't mean nothing. You find a woman and she's like, yo, that's the guy for me. I want him. I don't care what height he is. I don't care how much money he make. Whatever it is, she's into that guy. And she gets that guy and they get married. That woman won't look at another man. That woman gets disgusted when men hit on her. I mean, she's, you know, social and everything, but she's the first one to tell you, like, I have a husband, right? That's the woman that when y'all kids, she's practicing spelling your last name, her first name, your last name. That woman, she ain't worried about hypergamy because she's found her perfect guy. She has found her perfect hypergamous mate, and she won't look at another dude. And I talk about that in red pill space. And like, no, that never happens. Like, bullshit. Y'all got to go outside. Y'all got to go outside. It happens all the time because women don't want to bounce on a whole bunch. They don't want to be on that dick carousel, bro. I don't care how many women tell you that. They don't want to be on that. Man. That's why they lie about their body count. You know what I mean? Guys will go out here. Why you think guys get so much praise for going out here? If you bang 5, 10, 100 chicks, dudes are like, man, you the man, right? A woman could go do that in a day. She could do that in a day. And she ain't got to be nowhere near pretty. She could be fat, nasty, disgusting. She get 100 dudes to run up in there. I know 100 Marines right now. If they could figure out how to get an angle on it, bro, they up in it.
Well, DL saying that's your time when guys would say that's cool and then they'll want to learn from you. But now they might call you a womanizer and say you the problem. So guys are the new women. They wouldn't support that for the most part. But I get it. And I often tell people, like who likes you. That's it. That's my requirement. But most men do the opposite. They like who don't like them. Then try to fight for the like. Then if they get the girl, quotations on that. If they get the girl, quotations on that again, then they say, stop, turn around. I'm the leader now. Follow me. It makes no sense. You can't be a leader if you don't even like who likes you, because that's not a paradigm. You had to convince her. You had to get her to like you. And like you said, when a woman really likes you and want to sniff your dirty drawers, that type of love, you can skip all the other talking points. I don't give a dang how broad look and all this other stuff and what she did. I want the girl who likes me and to smell my dirty drawers, because that's the woman that will go to war for you. And once you get that love, there ain't no makeup kit. It ain't nothing else that a woman can offer you that's actually valuable in comparison to that type of energy for a man and a woman when that woman has that love and that admiration for a man.
I would say this: a man will probably experience that at least one time in his life, and it's up to him to recognize that type of woman. If he does not recognize that person and lose that woman, he'll never find that type of woman again.
He gonna skip on her, Black, because she ain't got the fatty like he wanted, or she ain't like this, or she ain't like that. It's some reason. I'm not gonna just say it's looks only, right? But it's just some reason he ain't gonna look at that funny looking girl in the corner that's looking at him. He gonna worry about this other girl who ain't paying him no mind. That's the problem. So you always gonna end up in a situation, ain't nothing you could do. But if you get that girl who loves you and want to sniff your dirty drawers, there ain't none of this. Oh, she never happy. She happy because you is it in her eyes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you, but guys who truly understand the dating game, he's not gonna overlook the quiet girl in the corner. He's gonna holler at it. Now, if he goes over and says something to her, then she clams up, don't say anything, she doesn't give any choosing signals or anything like that. He'll just, she's not communicating. He'll walk away. You know what I mean? Like, I guess you ain't trying to. Sorry to bother you, love. I'm out. But again, let's make up some more numbers, and we'll start with Brother Financial this time. What percentage of dudes do you think women find attractive, generally speaking?
5.
Yeah, 10.
You say 5%?
Yeah,
10?
yeah.
God damn.
Below 10. Yeah.
Below 10.
Well, if it's
right.
a 20,
Brother
if
Ron?
it's 20-80 rule,
No,
I would say
attractive.
at least 20% of the men.
Okay.
Nah, 10 of them just got something they want. So
Hold on.
attractive.
Okay, so like I said, if it's 20-80, I would go 15%, and the other 5% are talking themselves in it or offering that chick something for her to want to go for. So I'll say 15%.
Damn.
When you say attractive, are you going based on looks alone or just based on the entire package?
Just on not who women say they want, who women reward with sex. What percentage of men do women actually reward with sex? 5%?
5 to 10%. 5 to 10%.
Right. So it's striking that no man on this panel said anything close to 50-50. No man on this panel said anything close to the majority.
We're not delusional. Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing. And when you go and you talk to people, just regular folks out there that they call them blue pill, whatever. I just call them citizens. When you just talk to people, people are like, oh no, it's like these big numbers. Like, no, most women like all men. It's like, nah, they don't. And then women will tell you what they're supposed to say, what they think you want to hear. But when you see who they're actually, have you guys ever seen those videos or talked to anybody who will show you like a dude who's like really good online or like, buff guy, they'll show you what women in the DMs are saying to him, like what he's saying to them and what they're saying. Like, I just want you to come over here and, bounce up and down on it. I want you to come over here and give me some dome. And these are just strangers that he did his own, Match or Hinge or Bumble or whatever. And these women are like, yeah, what's your address? Like, I'm on my way. It's not even set up like this. I got a buddy who's really good at that. And he was just like, yeah, man, we were having a conversation. He's like, yo, I'm about to set up. He's like, I just set up an account. The account was 15 minutes old. He had 50 women in there. And he was saying some of the crazy. He's like, what should I say? Like, I'll say anything you want me to say. I'm like, I'll say this. Tell her you want to put your pinky in her butt or something. She's like, okay, when are you free this week? I couldn't believe what I was reading, bro. I couldn't believe it.
I could believe it.
I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? And again, it's just eye-opening stuff. So like when you look into what women say and what women actually react to is two different things. Am I saying that's the average woman? Absolutely not. I don't think the average woman is wild like that. But I will say that there are more women who are wild like that today than there was like in 2026. I think there's more women who are wild like that than it was in 1996. I will say that. I think the number is bigger now.
Nah.
Yeah, they just kept it on the low.
Yeah, look, I'm from Miami, man. I used to have a field day when
Freak Neeks. Wait, hold on, Freak Neeks.
That's Atlanta. I was in Freak. That was the best Freak.
But that was in the past. That was in the past, though. That was in the past. In that time frame, it was more crazy than what we got now. Freak Neeks. Oh heck, nah. That's wild.
Freaknik was cool, but it was nothing like this. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it was nothing like the technology today and what women are doing today. Like they'll send me the link coming through and just bang.
The access is just way too high now. Back then, like I said, it was city, county, maybe even state.
Yeah, but that was technology, but the people were still freaky and wild. That's the purpose of it.
Yeah, I mean, they've been wild since what was it, the 60s?
They've been wild since Eve.
But yeah.
Yeah, I tell women this, and I tell guys this. I'm like, look, plausible deniability is important, and it only works if there's no proof. Quit filming your shit. Like it's hard to find. It's hard to find photos and pictures, and on me back in the day, man, I was tearing up, burning up Polaroids. Man, keep your dirt and your skeletons in the closet where they belong. And nowadays, everybody just puts it out here. It's like, and you think that's not gonna hurt you down the road if you do find that 1% dude. And he stumbles on your video, or you know what I'm saying, busting it down with something.
Why would we? Wait, hold on. Let's look at that. I wanted to be out. Why y'all trying to why y'all trying to bury the evidence? I want the evidence out. I want to know who I'm dealing with. I don't want to. Oh man, girls don't do this. If you a super freak, you a super freak. I don't want you to bury the evidence, because then what you gonna do? You setting up a guy that's quote unquote high value to match up with a girl because you done told her to bury the evidence. Now he's hitched to her and she's still a freak. Like,
but there are other ways to determine.
I want to know. I want to know. I want the transparent, easiest way to get access to. I don't want to have to dig and get a PI. I don't want to get a PI. No, why is that a problem? I'll get a PI and do that. I still learn the game. Nobody said don't do it. Nobody said don't do it.
You just said it. Like, I don't want to do the work. I want the easiest way to do it. Right? You're gonna confront her with the evidence. The work,
but if you hit me up with the evidence, cool.
But I'm just saying, you're gonna present this evidence, and then she's gonna hit you with, that was CGI.
Why would I present the evidence? Why would I do that? I wouldn't do that.
You just gonna move? Okay, that's cool. Like if you're just gonna bounce it, that's just fine.
Yeah. Like what about 9 out of 10 times a liar's gonna lie to you? Like why would
you confront them? All they're gonna do is gaslight you into believing them.
Yeah, exactly. I know the game.
But here's the thing: you know the game, and you're a Marine. Military guys have seen the worst of female nature. We've seen it. Like, I'm a Desert Storm guy too, right? So I remember the women sending videos. We're down range, and the guy like, oh, my wife sent me a video, and they pop it in, and bro, we sit back and watch this woman walk around in lingerie, talking about all this stuff. I miss you and all this, and then she gets to the bedroom. There's some dude laying down. You know what I'm saying, with his thing right up there, and she was. Start going to town on it, and then look at the camera and say, oh, by the way, I want a divorce, and go right back to it. And I'm sitting there like, we had to take his weapons, man. we had to watch him.
Suicide, right? Yeah.
He lost everything. Feel bad for him. And people like, oh man, that's a myth. Like, nah, that shit happens all the time. So military guys have a different take. But these young dudes, they don't want to do the work. They just sit back. They're lazy about it, and I think that's a big problem.
Now, military guys is lit too, because even if they see that, what they gonna say? Not my girl, though. Every guy sitting down there is thinking, not my girl. I think every guy who ever walked the plane said, not my girl. It wouldn't make any sense, guys. Go ahead. Not your unit.
Not my
unit.
Right.
That sounds funny too. That's a new one.
Yeah,
not
those
my
guys,
unit.
The guys in our unit were like, nah, she could be. I won't put it past nobody.
Yeah.
They were saying stuff like that. Like, I'm taking
like
a chance. I love it. Right. I won't put it past anybody. I hope not. There's a lot of that. The brothers, the white guys were saying, not my girl. And we were laughing.
Right.
We were laughing. Like, oh, really?
My thing was, look, I've never been the type of dude that hung on to a chick with both fists like I couldn't get another one. If you were home when I got home, then whatever the fuck you were doing, it wasn't strong enough for you to leave me. But if you left, you left. So say like Gare. You get what I'm saying?
But on your website, Ronin Travels, you got the T-shirt that say "Not my girl."
Never that. I got too many stories.
Shots. Hey, we got shots fired, bro. Get some.
Right.
Get some.
Hey. I know the movie that came off of. Wasn't that
all that's Full Metal Jacket. Come on now.
Yeah. That's right.
How do you shoot women and children? Easy, you don't lead them as much. Come on, that had to be one of the best lines in that movie.
Some people are offended by that, though. They don't get our humor.
That's their problem. I don't care, man. I'm airborne. I got PTSD. It ain't my fault. Go ask the VA. It ain't my fault. I can say it. I got to pass. Brother Black Man Travels, man. What say you on the overall topic, man? Like hitting the wall. Like, I mean, you still locked in. I get you. Like, you're saying guys hit the wall. I'm saying it's a different term, but I agree with you. These dudes ain't trying. But it does make it easier for the old heads and for the guys who are actually doing the work that, 20, 15, 10, 2%, whatever number that is. Because it is easier today, in my opinion, dating wise than it was back in the 90s and in the early 2000s. What's your take on that?
I mean, for me, it's like I don't like dating sites. I'm not really a big photogenic person. So for me, I'm more the out in the field, being in marketing, sales. I talk to people. I talk to everybody. So once I'm in front of someone, I'm speaking to them. They see my personality. They see my size. They see me in person. It's not that hard. But also too, it's like that doesn't apply to everyone. But I always say water seeks its own level. Like, I know for a fact that I will never get that bad chick that everyone wants. I have a certain type that I like, and that's what I shoot for. So I think men need to be more realistic, similar to what Financial Frontier said early. Dude, you like people who like you. If that person's showing interest, explore that. But if you're trying to chase someone that like a bottle chick, a bottle model chick, whatever these girls are doing nowadays, yeah, more than likely she's not going to talk to you because she's surrounded by dudes that make more money than you. But if you're around other geek heads, like like you said, you're a gamer, or you're into books, or you're into like festivals, go meet those type of women. You probably have a higher success rate compared to you trying to want someone that you see on Instagram. So that's just my take on it. And also too, in regards to men hitting the wall, yes, a lot of us older men, we don't take care of ourselves. We could hit the wall. So it's just like, as we get older, yes, you got the resources, but don't forget about you. Don't forget to continue to work on yourself because you got money, but doesn't mean that you'll probably live long enough to spend it or enjoy it. So that's it.
But I feel you on that. But you do realize if you have enough money as a guy and your goal is just female companionship, like you ain't even trying to smash, you ain't hitting shit. You ain't hitting no wall. You know what I mean? You got a boat, you got a jet. You know what I'm saying? You got basically unlimited amount of money.
Yeah, but that's a small percentage of men that have that. Very, I feel you, but again, small percentage, man.
And to your point about not having any money, like someone like you, bro, I promise you, if you want it, like you say you don't want to do this, but if you want it, if you wanted to get the bottle girl, if you wanted to get the bartender, if you wanted to get the YouTube influencer, like you said, bro, you over 6 feet, you in shape. I mean, you got you got stories, right? You got stories, you got game. You can smash her. You can smash her if you want it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not denying that, but also too, I realize I'm beyond just the over superficial things. Like, I really got to fuck with you to really like you. Like, for me to be sexually aroused by someone, dude, I gotta like you. It's like for me, I've done the overseas things. I mean, I'm from Miami, traveled to over 45 countries, man. I banged as many places as most. And it gets to the point now, like, yo, I want to like you. You can't just be a pretty face, and we can't even communicate. There's no connection. Like, I'm in Atlanta. I could go to a cigar bar lounge and see a beautiful woman, but then again, if I feel like there's no connection, there's no conversation, that doesn't do nothing for me. Yes, you're cute, nice ass, nice body, but that doesn't do anything for me. So it really depends on what you're looking for. Like you said, it goes back to your original question. What is your mission? At this point in my life, man, listen, I look for connection. I look for someone that I can have a conversation with. And lucky for me, I found that. But if I were to be single again, I'll probably be looking for the same exact thing. Because I've been there, done that, smashed around here and there, had all type of exoticals. I had all that shit before even I was traveling. So for me, it's just like, yo, what's the intangibles that you bring? Because if it's just an ass and tits and a pretty face, I have so many pictures and videos I could share.
Yeah. And that's another thing that everything you're saying reminds me, because a lot of guys will be talking about, I'm a G, I'm a player, I be getting all these girls, man, I'm this, I'm that. And I'm like, oh, you're a real G, huh? Right. And I'll point to the finest woman in the joint. Like, if she came over here right now and was talking about, you can go smash me right now, would you say no? Ah, shit, I can't say no to a dime. You ain't no G. You ain't there yet, son. You know what I mean? Keep working on it, young Jedi. You get there. You get there, young Jedi. And then they realize, just like when they, later on down the road, they're like, damn, I see what you mean. I see what you mean now. Because you got to get there first. You got to do the work. And it's like what Black Man Travel says, like, I've been there. You know what I mean? I didn't talk to women all over the world. Beautiful, exotic women. All right, been there, did that. Now I'm looking for something specific. And that's where I want the average guy to get. I want that 80-20 rule or that 95-5 rule. I want every dude in that 5%. I want every dude in that 20%, that 15% or whatever it is. And you can get there. That number is just a metaphor. I tell dudes all the time, like, you can get there, but you got to do the fucking work. And it's hard. And it don't stop tomorrow.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And so, but yeah, I tell dudes all the time, like, yo, are you a G, huh? Because they'll see me. I'll go over and have a great conversation with a woman. Like, damn, man, she a baddie. You gonna take her home? Like, nah. Why not? And I don't feel like dealing with that. But you was talking to her. Yeah, it was an okay conversation, but I ain't trying to fuck with that. Right? It is what it is. I see the problems. You go ahead. You want to meet her? Come here. Yeah. Come here. Hey, Sharika. Bring your, you know what I mean? Yeah, this is Jimmy.
Not Sharika.
Really? Hell no.
Not the Sharika.
Okay, Amy. Okay, my bad. Hey, Amy.
Yeah, there we go. There you go.
Hey, shout out to the $5 super chat coming in from Alpha, the first one. He says, men do not have a wall. I live in SoCal. I see guys 60 plus with 18 to 25-year-old. Women hit the wall harder. What say you guys?
Shout out to Alpha, the first one. They do have a wall though, bro. But hey, Hugh Hefner never hit the wall.
Thank you.
Right. So you get that, but there is a wall for most people. Pacino, I mean, it's still a wall. It's you got the outlier. You got the outliers, but still, he's paying $30,000 a month. Yeah, that was what he wanted. That's what he wanted. That was what the judge didn't order that. He was like, oh, I'm gonna give you $30,000 a month. My goodness, she won.
Hey, when you have that kind of wealth, you don't care. It's going to your legacy.
Right. So let you know what I'm saying? Let what's her name do it? Tyra Banks or the other one. What was it? Vivica Fox.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what Vivica Fox paying me, bro. I don't care what what's the big girl that's on Ozempic? You know what I mean? The musician. What's her name?
Lizzo.
I don't care how much Lizzo talking about. That's that to brother finance point, man. That's one negotiation I'm gonna break. I ain't trying to do nothing with you, Lizzo. You know how drunk, you know how much Hennessy.
Come on, you can't get motivated for the money.
Oh,
you can't get motivated for the money. Pop a couple blue pills.
Alcohol poisoning.
Close your eyes. What do we say?
I would die of alcohol poisoning.
We
used to call them.
Look, no. What did we call them back in the day? One baggers. If you were just that hard up, put a bag
that's
over
a Marine Corps thing.
Bro.
That is a Marine Corps thing. We ain't do that shit in the Airborne Army. I don't know what you talking about, son.
Now don't put that on the Marine Corps. That's a Roman thing.
Like I say, bro,
that's what they call them. I ain't never
That's
had to go
his
there,
unit.
but they was one baggers.
See,
Oh my God.
I mean,
Damn,
I get it.
that's-
Everyone can't be a home run, but I'm sorry, she can't fit in my closet. That's it. You gotta be able to fit in the closet, bro. I can't smash that. I can't smash. I
guys.
don't care how much money.
Hey, I appreciate the show. It's 1 o'clock my time, and I gotta be up at 6. So
take
man.
your old ass to bed, man. Hey, we don't we not shutting it down.
Oh man, wait! You hit the wall. Come on, man.
He hit the
Yeah,
wall.
he just
I
hit
hit
the
the
wall.
wall. I hit the wall, so I
He
can
hit
get
the
up.
wall.
No, he did. He just quit.
Get up and try again.
He just
can't
quit.
hit the wall.
I
He
hit
just
the
quit.
wall. I hit the wall so I could get up and try
He
again. in the
can't
morning.
hang like Bebe's kids.
Yeah.
He can't hang.
No, but honestly,
Hey,
you guys can keep the show going, man. This is a great topic.
And before you go, brother, I would love to have all you guys on my platform. And you know me, I'm on Instagram. I really want to know podcast, all one word, bro. I would love to keep this going, man, because I like having discussions. Damn the debate, that's bullshit. I like having real discussions, man. Like, because we're brothers, we're leaders, and you know, I'm sick of the crazy YouTube shit, man. So I would love to have you guys on the platform, man. I'll be reaching out to you. I'll find y'all.
Yeah, if you can hit me up on Instagram or TikTok, if you're on TikTok or whatever. You can hit me up on my website, blackmantravels.com. I'm more than happy to come on your show as a guest, man. Please feel free to reach out to me.
Yes, sir. I will appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Same thing. Oh yeah, all my stuff is on my bio, so you can hit me up on anything. I don't hide who I am.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna hit you up. And Black Man Finance, I want to holler at you too, man. We can talk. That's what we really need to be talking about is finance. What to do with this little money when you get it. You know what I'm saying? And especially since I believe there's a massive recession, maybe small D depression coming. I would love to talk to you about it, but not here. We're talking about 304.
Yeah. Well, no. See, I got a channel for that too. It's called Wealth Legacy Walks, Wealth Talk. So I have another channel that deals with that. I've been in the retirement and financial planning industry for almost 20 years.
Ron,
that's why I'm sitting in the Philippines right now.
I got definitely talk to.
But yeah,
they say Vietnam's the spot.
I give Financial Frontier all his flowers, man, for being younger than me and being in the position he is now, you know, where he can do whatever he needs to do and still grow. He hasn't stopped, like quit. He just keeps pushing forward and looking at innovative ideas.
I ain't hit the wall yet.
But a lot of us don't. I always say I work smarter, not harder. You know, and I work to the beat of my own drum. I don't have to worry about somebody telling me I have to do something and clock in and clock out. I've been independent for almost 15 years, you know, where I'm 1099 if anything. You know, you're not taking my clients from me. When I leave, I take them with me, you know, so. But yeah, man, we can continue the conversation. I've told the chat several times. The link is in the chat. It is an open panel, and we'll keep this running a little bit longer. We're at about 2 hours and 33 minutes, which ain't nowhere close to. We've done marathons of 8 hours, bro.
Oh, I won't be doing that, but damn, that's crazy. Damn,
my
man G Complex. My man G Complex, he's in Texas, and he's definitely a finance guy. Like he's out here working with these dudes. We're like in the same spaces, and he's out here working. So Casa holler at me about the whole social thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of us. Yeah.
But it all works in tandem. And that's another thing too, man. And I don't call myself a coach, although, there's coaches out there. I just like to try to help if I can. And, I tell guys all the time, like, well, if I just make a lot of money, I'm gonna be able to get baddies. I'm like, money helps. Being tall helps. Being fit helps, right? All those other things that they talk about in the red pill world, that shit helps. But it's not an end all to be all. I tell guys all the time, I'm like, bro, first of all, when I was young, and I was at my peak with womanizing, I was broke. I was what these kids call a brokey. You know what I mean? But I had mad women, tons of women. I had women all over the place. Didn't know what to do with them, right? I didn't start having problems until I made 6 figures. Once I started making 6 figures, it changed, right? It's like you get reckless with it. Not just being reckless, but you kind of become a target. Because there's some women out there who they know what they're looking for. And I moved from Cincinnati to LA, so it was like a whole different kind of world. I'm out there doing that. And I'm like, yo, I'm in Hollywood with the cool kids. I thought I had a little bit of money. I'm sitting there with my little 150,000, whatever I was making. I'm sitting there next to a dude who made 150 million last month. It's like, damn. Like, yo, How you do that?
There are
So-
levels. Absolutely.
Oh man, so many levels. So I tell dudes all the time, like, you got to really work on a bunch of things. But I would say the number one thing for what we're talking about, you want to meet women, you're trying to get out there, you got to get your social skills together. You got to look the part. And you know, you want to be charming. You want to be charming, right? And that takes work, bro. Because most of the guys in the red pill space, man, they don't have those tools, and that hurts them.
Yeah, it does.
But
I was
yeah,
gonna
man,
say
like
something.
oh, go ahead. You getting
No,
old,
no,
Marine.
go ahead.
But
Yeah, I am.
so
I ain't gonna lie about it.
so the talk about, you know, men hitting the wall, women hitting the wall, but you start talking about hypergamy. There's a lot of stuff that I agree with you there, but there was some things there that I'm like, it's not. I was like, I don't know about that part. You were saying some things. So give me your take on that, like the whole thing with your take on the wall. Now that, you know, Black Man Travels is gone, let's hear your take on that and your take on, you know, hypergamy and stuff like that, and like dating in America or the West for that matter.
Yeah. I always say global because I've been living overseas for all time, and people just think it's strictly to the West, and actually it gets a little bit more fierce and aggressive when you go over to the East, depending on it. Southeast Asia, you'll be all right, but we're talking about China and developed countries, you're going to be dealing with some issues there that are more intense and fierce, what you got in America. So when I was just talking about hypergamy, I mean, if you just look up the definition, we could talk about looks, we could talk about fertility, and these things is what a man seeks from a woman sometimes, right? They're looking for fertility and youth. And that's hypergamous because they could be 60 and then they're looking for a girl that's younger, right? And that's the definition of hypergamy. It's sexual capital, it's money, it runs across all segments of life. And so both groups can do it. And also, if you just look historically, men have also required dowries from females, meaning capital money invested. It's not only to the women, it's also to the man in different societies, different times, right? Julius Caesar, he married a woman of wealth and of power, not just some girl who worked at, let's say, the steel mill, you know, or somebody who was a bread keeper's daughter. He married into families that were equal or above. And so it goes both ways, but how it's practiced mostly today in the West, let's just say USA, right? It's mostly, yes, women are the ones dating up and males are not. Now, of course, most situations are just a little bit up. It's not a dramatic increase because there's not so many available men that have all that wealth. But as women get more opportunities, economically speaking, right? Now they start to kind of stabilize with the rest of men, right? They're making as much or just as much, not as much. So I think the deals that couples make get a little bit kind of hard to figure out at that point. It changes the paradigm. But when I was just saying hit the wall, I always like to apply things two-way and not just look at it as this only applies for women, because it could always go the other direction. And I think hitting the wall does have its, it has its standard and requirement for men. We just haven't created it. We just usually apply that word to only women. I think we should apply it to men too and figure out what that would look like. That's called expanding the space.
Yeah,
but
I'm with you on that. I'm with you 100%.
It could be a different word too if you want to do that. I'm cool with that too. I'm not like, no, it has to be the same word. Like, it could be a different word, but we just need to figure out what that looks like because it exists and it's a two-way street at all times.
I mean, you could ask Rollo Tomasi if men hit the wall and he'll say yes. And then he'll say, but it's different. And he'll go ahead and describe what they mean by that. But no, the red pill guys they've acknowledged and accepted the men hit the wall too, especially if you don't do the work. You brought up dowries. Do you follow This Is Shaw by chance?
Yeah, that's my homie, the gold pill. Shout out to the big homie.
Hey, because when you said dowry, I'm like, this motherfucker been talking to Shaw. Like, that's
I kind of understood it before him, but I'll give him his credit and say he actually helped increase it. But it all originates from Peter Wright, which is really out of the loop and nobody sees him. He's almost the source. But yeah, historical sense. And then it just didn't make sense to me. I'm like, what? I could have swore Julius Caesar and all these guys in Pompey, they made sure that their marriages correlated with wealth and status. They just didn't marry whatever. They had concubines and they had fun with other women, but they married at their class or above because they were ambitious men. Well, at one point, Julius Caesar just had name. He didn't have wealth to go with it. So he had to go find a woman with wealth in order to get himself insulated in wealth, and on top of that, his story, which he came from tradition.
Yeah, and then he blew it all on what's her name out of Egypt,
Cleopatra.
Cleopatra. You know what I mean? He over there getting in love with Cleopatra, and she banging Mark Anthony. But hey, it is what it is. But that's always been the case, right? That's always been the case with with the elites, the true elites, especially when you're talking about royalty and you're talking about royal blood. Throughout history, that's been the case. So, but there's no talk until Shaw. I'm afraid I don't know the other brother, the Peter something, I think it was. But
Yeah,
when Shaw brought it up,
yeah,
Shaw does a really good job bringing that up, man. You know, shout out to him. If y'all haven't checked out this Shaw, man, that's a good brother to listen to, especially if you got questions about the family law system, because he works in the family law system in California. And bro, when I tell you California taking heads, bro, I know what I'm talking about. So when it comes to that, that's what's up, man. Yeah, bro. I travel a little bit, man. I've been through China, at least Shanghai and Beijing. And I tell you what, I doubt if I ever go back. But then my people like, no, you got to go to Guangzhou or you got to go to Macau. And I don't know. And my visa just ran out recently, so I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna go back to China. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, right. It's fierce over there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ronan.
I just don't think China has they're not going to do anything like kidnap you or anything like that. So I don't think it's a bad place to travel to. I mean, business-wise, especially into import-export or technology and other things like that, you're looking for angles of making money. I always look at angles for import-export or something like that as far as a business aspect that keeps my mind going. So, and it's a beautiful country. There's a lot of natural vistas and things that you can see in China that are worth seeing. I mean,
I think that's in the south.
China itself.
Well, I've been to the wall.
China itself, yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
I've been to the wall, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Okay.
I was on their bullet train. I went from Shanghai to Beijing, and Beijing to Shanghai. Sorry, it wasn't pretty. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like the country, what I saw on that train ride, the bullet train was better than the Japanese bullet train. But it wasn't pretty. Like the stuff that I saw, I'm like, this looks like communism. This is a god awful country. But I haven't been to the South yet. I haven't been to the South.
I love it. But see, that's the big thing, man. People make things look out to be more than they are. I mean, even here in the Philippines, there's extreme poverty versus, extreme wealth. There's a huge, vast cavern between the two. Not that the land in certain areas, Palawan, Iloilo, Boracay, and places like that aren't beautiful, but in between that, there's a lot of like, God damn, really? This is how these people are living. But the whole thing is, when you look at things like that, you look at how are these people happy? They don't know any better. In spite of, right? You don't miss something you never had. So you learn to appreciate the things you do. Well, we have so much stuff in abundance in America, you don't even know how to appreciate how much America offers you as a citizen because you don't know no better. You don't think it gets any worse until you travel. And that's why I say when people travel, they get more enlightened, they get more worldly when it comes to advantages and disadvantages from looking at different cultures to being in America. I think it gives people a greater appreciation of what they do have in America. And you still decide to leave, you leave, but you're never going to say that America doesn't give you options more so than some others.
America's a beautiful country, bro. And like to your point, like a lot of Americans take it for granted. Most Americans haven't even traveled America. Like, if you go, exactly. I challenge people like, man, drive the 10 from the East Coast to the West Coast and give yourself a lot of time just to kind of stop in different places. Like Texas is beautiful. Louisiana is great. You know what I mean? It's hot, sticky. You know what I mean? Like New Mexico. Like going through the deserts, going through the Great Plains, like it's amazing. Way better than China, And I see your brother Anthony in the chat. You know what I mean? Like they don't like black people. I don't think it was a problem with me being black, to be honest with you. I don't think that was it. It's just the extremes in China are way, way more extreme than they are in America. Like the extremes from the have and have-nots in China is way different here. And the people that don't have over there, like they'll slice your ass up in a heartbeat. Those little back alleys or whatever in Beijing, kind of, going to a little tea house or whatever. And they get your ass. But I wanted to ask y'all this. I'm hearing a lot of talk about Vietnam. What's up with that? A lot of expats going over there. A lot of people are loving it. They're saying the dollar is really strong. I'm not even sure what their currency is over in Vietnam. What are you guys hearing about that?
The same. I'm hearing people, even YouTubers, leaving the Philippines, going to Vietnam, and saying the advantages of maybe switching from being here in the Philippines over to Vietnam. You know, there's still communism or that socialism type of mentality there. So you're still giving up something for something. Your cost of living is one thing, but the society itself, you got to be able to handle that too. So while it might be cost effective, I would look at the bigger picture of everything else you have to deal with while you're there. And when you stay for a short time versus a long time, it's a big difference.
Facts.
So a lot of these YouTubers go off of short time visits, not I live in Vietnam and this is the way it is. And it might be pockets of people that are very accepting. And then there's pockets of people that were like extremely against you being there. You know, Thailand, same way. I mean,
I ain't trusting no commies though.
Boy,
so I'm good.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's right there.
You walking down the street and there's communist flags everywhere. I ain't seen never so many flags. I'm like, get some roads.
You're right there, and look at how some of the expat life, like the Israelis or the people from Israel that are staying in Thailand, and they're trying to push them right on the hell out. Same thing with Russia and not Pattaya, but in Phuket. The Russians took over Phuket and started pushing their agendas there, and they don't like that shit either. So even if you build your own community in a certain area, the Indians are abusive of the Thai people, and they don't want the Indians there. So after a while, it doesn't matter how much you set up, man. You piss some people off, you get booped the hell out. You know,
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this: as far as communist nations go, bro, I would rather give Vietnam a try before I try China. You know, it's something about, you know, that the CCP, man, I just can't rock with it now. Yeah, but you know, Vietnam is still, you know, they're communists, but their brand of communism, I don't think is as extreme as China.
That's aggressive.
Thank you, aggressive, better word.
And they could make some, and we got better, you know, I guess we could say we're on better terms with them to negotiate better deals. But the Department of State got a warning right now for Americans that want to go to China. Like, hey, you know, they've just been yoking up some people for some political reasons. So you might get Britney grindered. But at the end of the day, you know, just know that risk going in. But for me, I'm just like, nah, Vietnam's pretty cool. I've been there. I was in Da Nang, Nha Trang, and then, of course, Hanoi or Saigon.
Hey, Philippi, if you can join the City live, hit the link if you can. It's pinned to the chat. This is a like family member to me. He's more family than just a subscriber. But he's been China and he's been to Vietnam. He said it was great. He had a good time. I mean, and I always look at it this way. It's always a perspective depending on where you come from, how you conduct yourself while you're in the country, that whether you're well received or you have problems. And sometimes it could stem from, you know, people having an opinion based on what they saw on TV about who you are in your culture. You know, so I always go in with an open mind. But again, I'm going to have a different experience than anybody else on the panel. Maybe they think I'm a little lighter, so I'm a little different. You get what I'm saying? People judge you on first vision of who they perceive you to be. And then from there, you move forward. Sometimes you can change their opinion and sometimes you can't. You get what I mean? So while they perceive you one way, once you start talking to them, they see how warm and inviting and how humble you are while you're trying to learn from them, then they have a different opinion from their first initial on-site opinion. You get what I mean? So the longer you're there, the more you try. So what do you feel about that? Do you think over time, if you're showing humbleness and respect to their culture, do you feel like people kind of change their initial perception of who you are as an individual?
It depends. I mean, okay. Again, one of the
you're
things
a military guy, so yeah,
I'm a military guy. So one of the things with these guys that I'm trying to help them, you know, their social skills are real important. It's like, hey man, y'all got to work on your social skills because no matter where you are, you could be in America, you know, I mean, you can be in Colombia, Peru, you can be in Vietnam, you can be in Japan, South Korea, doesn't matter. The way you treat people, you should be treating people the way you want to be treated, first of all, and you should always remember when in Rome. You know what I mean? Like when in Rome, do as the Romans. So you can't be going to and this is why I have a problem with the passport bros. They went down to Colombia and just fucked everything up. Why? Because they went down there being Americans. Right now, before the passport bros, I'm talking about the black passport bros. Before them, white men, white Americans would go down there. Westerners from all over the world would go down there, but Americans were always shunned by the Colombians. Why? Because they're assholes. Most Americans are assholes, especially the ones that travel. They bring their form of racism with them. They just fuck up everything, right? So when the passport bros came, their brothers came down. They weren't in the military. They weren't real traveled. First time they ever had a passport. They're only coming down for one thing. And they're just bringing this hood mentality down there with them. And that made, in a lot of community, a lot of my friends down in Colombia were like, yo, we know you cool. But these other guys, now they're looking at black Americans and they're calling us gringos as well, right? Treating us like they treating all the white people. So I put that squarely on the passport bros because they didn't take the time to get their game up socially and do some research. Dude, for God's sakes, if you're going to a foreign country, learn how to say hello and goodbye in that language. You know what I mean? Like, just learn that.
Thank you. Say thank you.
Just that goes so far. So I think it's on the individuals, man. And I think America lives in their own bubble. And when Americans do travel, they think everywhere is America. It's like, no, like it's not.
But remember, we used to have unit briefings before we would go in country. They would tell us the temperature of the country. They would tell us what to look out for, the things how to treat certain people in the country. Yeah. They would give you a brief. They would give you a brief before you got up in there. And so you knew what to expect. And a lot of these kids that are traveling now don't even take the time to understand the culture, the people, or anything like we used to get when we would step off a boat, a plane, or out of the base wherever we landed. You get what I'm saying? Our mentalities are different as servicemen and women that are listening, than the general civilian that just got a passport for the first time and never kind of got weaned into how to act in a foreign country. We were taught to win hearts and mind, do no harm, things like that, because we're leaving the impression of who American people are when we go into those countries. Well, they don't care about that. Nobody cares about that shit. Nobody, that doesn't matter. Like I had Floyd, not Floyd, but the other idiot on a panel, and I was like, look, man, there's a way to travel and there's a way not to travel. There's no way to travel. You can travel anywhere. I said, no, there absolutely is. And they still don't want to acknowledge there's a way to conduct yourself to where you don't do any harm for the person behind you. Now, the damage and the incidents that have happened over this, it's going to take years to fix all that. The reputation and us as a people and how we're perceived before we even get off the plane. Now you profiled in America driving while black. Now you want to be profiled while you're getting off an airplane. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, it's another black man getting off the plane. Goddamn, what's he here to do?
And Anthony 6398. Okay. Americans are assholes, especially the ones that travel, fam. Let's just keep it 100. Let's keep it 100.
Not military. Americans.
I'm talking about civilians. Yeah. Americans, most of the Americans that travel are assholes. Don't take my word for it. Go to these countries and ask the people there how they feel about Americans, right? And it just is what it is. It doesn't have to be that way. Now, Americans as a whole, we got some, you got these people gonna show you love in America. Ask the world. They came here for the World Cup. Yeah. Shit, they love America. They can't wait to come back. You know what I'm saying? They can't wait to get some more sugary drinks. They can't wait to order a pop, order a soda, and it just keeps coming and coming and coming. I remember last time I was in London, bro. Last time I was in London, I think I was in a casino watching the football game, American football game, because it was on early in the morning. And bro, I think I dropped $30 on Sprite. Because I just, I'm thinking I'm home. Keep ordering another one. And my shit was ridiculous. I don't think it was $30, but it was up there though, bro. I spent more money on the soda than I did on the damn chips that I had fries.
All right, fam. Felipe, go ahead and chime in now. So I know you were saying something in the chat, but I'm sure you can add to the conversation.
Hey, panel, how are you? It's always a pleasure. Thank you for having me up, Ronan. Saint, nice to meet you, and always a pleasure to share the panel with Financial Frontier. What I was saying in the chat was, ironically, I started doing work with Vietnam in '98. it was really kind of an accident how I wound up doing that. But the Vietnam of that period from 1998 to 2002 was when I was doing work there. That Vietnam and what you see now is night and day. At that time, they were trying to reestablish themselves as an entity for investment because they had had a soft opening in 1992 where relations were normalized. And what they did in 93, 94 was they basically blew their bond rating. So they lost the ability to get credit because they really didn't handle the opening well. So in 98, 99, what they were trying to do was to reestablish themselves as a force for foreign investment and infrastructure development. And if you look at where they are now, it's incredible. You would never have predicted where they are now from where they were then. And just a couple of things that I worked on. One of the things that I worked on was they wanted to do a high-speed rail from the tip of China down all the way to what was formerly Saigon. And one of the problems that they had at the time was that they had 5 different rail gauges throughout the country, and it had a result of the colonial experience. You know, different colonial powers had put different type of rail in there. And the reason why they were doing that was because most of their freight was being done on roads with trucks. And they would have these horrible accidents during the monsoon season with the people on the scooters and these trucks. And so it was causing a lot of casualties. And they wanted to revamp both their freight and their commuter rail. And, we met with a couple of the top U.S. rail, like contractors, if you want to call them that. Most of our clients were actually ex-military. And the deal fell through at that time because nobody wanted to pay for the feasibility studies. And that's a big issue of like, who's going to foot the cost to research if this is even possible. And if you look, I looked at it maybe about a year or two, they finally built that rail. So like they're putting the final touches on it. And China, ironically, who at that time was, the time I was working on it, was one of their big competitors for foreign investment. China came in and helped them build it. So, just there are tremendous differences of how quickly they've elevated themselves from where they were when I was working on the stuff to where they are now. And that was really my contribution, or at least the starting point.
For being the economic hitman. Shout outs to you, man. CIA level.
For sure. Don DeMarco for that brother right there.
Don DeMarco.
I got one too.
Okay.
Hey, I think he's a little bit of a troll. He says racism is prevalent overseas. You get profiled by color of your skin and the country you come from. Y'all agree with that?
Hell no. I wanted to talk about that.
I don't but go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. Most Americans don't travel. So when people talk about racism, they don't realize that Americans' version of racism is unique to America, to the United States of America. Our form of racism is unlike any other place you're going to go to. Do other countries have racism? Yeah, but most of theirs is like steeped in caste systems and stuff like that. And most of it is they're mad because of immigration, right? So what we deal with in America, what we call racism, you're not going to see like the profiling and all that shit. You might be in a third world country somewhere, they pull you over because they think you're a Westerner and they want to get some money. You get pulled over by the cop, and all you got to do is bribe him. That has nothing to do with the skin of your, the color of your skin. It's just that's an American, or that's a Brit, or that's an Aussie, right? And you got a lot of that. So you got to. I don't think that statement is. I don't agree with that statement. But you know, it is what it is. It might be a little bit of trolling. But what do y'all think?
I would add. I definitely think it's actually valid, and that's just reality because that's just the world we live in. I mean, if you're African and you're going into countries, you deal with issues. Versus me, I'm black, but I'm an American, so I deal with less issues, and that's a real thing. You can ask Africans themselves, wherever you find them in Thailand and China and anything else. They know there's a difference, and that's just because they come from a country that's perceived as impoverished in comparison to me coming from a country that's not perceived as impoverished. And so they have to deal with different nuances, and they're discriminated in different ways than I would be discriminated, even though both of our skins are black. But at the end of the day, everybody has issues. And so if you go to Latin America, they have racism. The black Brazilians would disagree if they don't have form of racisms. They actually fight for it constantly. They're further behind any progress that we got. They ain't got no equal opportunity officers or DEI. That doesn't exist in Brazil. So those people are fighting for that in that landscape. So I think there's these nuances, but as long as you come with good energy, positivity, you'll mostly be all right. So it's not like somebody's going to be like, hey, you're black, and then let's do something bad to you like the KKK or something. Like, you'll be all right, man. And one thing I found in my experience, I'll just land the plane here. One thing I found because black men, y'all always say this and it gets on my nerves. Look, bro, y'all talk about yourselves. Because in my experience being overseas, if you're a high quality individual, I ain't even got to say man, other men of other cultures respect that. They'll even look at the people from their culture and say, hey, I want my daughter to be with somebody who's actually getting things done. So they have more respect than that because they're looking at other men just based off of competence. And so you got to take that into account, but just move accordingly and live your life. I think that's way less of an issue than what you're making it out to be. Go ahead.
Quick, Brother Financial, are you saying that there's no distinction between America's version of racism and Colombia, Brazil, South America, Vietnam? You saying it's all the same?
In a place like Brazil, do you know the history of Brazil? Brazil has blacks outside of Africa.
My point is, are you saying that if I'm in Brazil, I'm gonna get followed by the police and called the N-word, and you know what I mean? I don't agree with that.
Yeah. Even if you're in Argentina,
I don't think it's the same as. I don't think it's the same as America. I'm not saying that they don't have their issues.
I lived in those
countries. Their form of racism.
I lived in those countries.
I don't think it's the same.
And those Brazilians would say that. Brazilians would say that. Brazilians say that. If you go down to Salvador, Bahia, they say our connection. That's what they're saying. So they say our struggle and our connection is similar to yours. They deal with racism. They deal with people calling them names because they're specifically black. It's actually pretty worse, the plantations in Brazil compared to the plantations in actually America.
Here's the thing.
We have different histories and nuance. Yeah.
You're saying they're similar, and I'm agreeing. I'm saying they're not this American racism. I found
they're
American
not
racism
carbon
to be
copy the same. Nothing is carbon copied the same.
No. But my point is the American version of racism I have found to be very unique to the United States of America. Not even North America. Like, it's very unique to the United States of America. I'm not saying that the Brazilians,
and watch this. The racism in Brazil is very unique to South America. Okay, cool. But it's all racism. People getting hung up, people being discriminated, and people getting blasted based off of their skin color. That's a real thing.
Let me ask you this, because I want to say, is there a distinction between our kind of racism and just learned colorism based on colonization of these other countries? Because my girl here,
originates from the same.
Let me follow up with this. My girl here has been bullied all her life because she was born with curly hair. Still Spanish descent and all the things that Filipinos are, but she had loosely curled hair, and they made fun of her for that. And she had darker skin. So then it was a classism thing or a colorism thing, saying that if you worked out in the fields versus being in the homes, similar to Black Americans, when it comes to the darker versus the light skinned people. Oh, you're a house nigga versus the ones that worked out in the field and did the real work. It's the same type of thing even here, but the Spanish colonized them. So over the period of generations of being colonized, not only by the Spanish, dealing with the Chinese, and then you had Americans that owned the Philippines. Okay. Their own cultural people have discriminations based on the skin tone of their own people. And you have the Eta people here. The Eta people are dark skinned with curly hair. Some of the original Aboriginal type people that live here are even, their genetics is even more Aboriginal than the ones that are sitting in Australia. And they're dark skinned hill people. They just stay in the hills, they grow their own food and all that stuff. So you actually have dark skinned melanated Filipinos all the way to, and they're from Melanesian descent, I think is what is called the different tribes and the different cultures that came out of Asia and all these islands are Melanesians. But go ahead, financial.
Can I throw something there?
Yeah, go ahead, Lindsay.
The group discussion that the different colonial powers had different systems of which they integrated the indigenous and other groups that were imported. So the big distinction I want to make is between the English colonies and all of the Latin countries. The English colonies, the colonists brought their wives, whereas in almost all of the Latin colonies that they did not bring their wives. So the structure of the system that was set up was completely different. Also, with regard to the English colonies, like the America project, that you had a distinct group of people, the Puritans, that affected the way that their economic and slavery system was rolled out. As opposed, like there are only two colonial powers I can think of that have Puritans, which was the English and the Dutch. So you see different things in those colonies than what you saw in the Latin colonies. And what I'm specifically talking about is that the Latin colonies, all of them had some form of what they call las castas laws. And what this was a pyramid structure where the Spanish or the French or the Portuguese were the top group. And then all of the other groups, if you look this up, there are these different pyramids of groups where at the bottom of that is going to be the indigenous and the Africans. And so the way that social mobility was implemented was through the various mixtures of these groups. So like you can go, if I hate to put it there, but like there are 30 different categories at least of different mixtures of people within the various Spanish colonies, and it was their vocation based on their identity. And so that's a completely different system. And here's the real brain twist. Where do you guys think that they got that system from?
Europeans, I would think. Maybe India. Maybe India.
Arabs.
Frontier, what do you think?
Arabs. Original slave owners.
Ronan?
I would have to say Africa, somewhere in Africa, like Egyptians or something like that.
It's really interesting. The Moors.
Oh shit!
Moors
there you go.
I wouldn't even think about that.
The system. The Moors.
Awesome.
You guys were all kind of touching around it, but yes, the Moors, because they too were a mixed group. Some of them were from the Middle East, some of them were from North Africa, and they basically created a system where your identity was your vocation. You can look it up. Las Castas for the Moors. You'll see that the system is almost identical. What the Spanish did when they defeated the Moors and kicked them out was they just reversed the system and put themselves on top. And then they
I am not smart enough to be talking with you, brother. Thanks for enlightening me, man, because that's fire. I'm definitely gonna look it up, man. I appreciate you, brother.
It's all about the love, brother. You know, but it's interesting because then when you see that what I would call the infrastructure of the culture, then it makes sense. Like one of the things in the Philippines that I just discovered not too long ago was
he's married to a Filipina, by the way. So
yes,
lucky man.
My wife is Filipina. That the Spanish did not mix at the levels that they did in their Latin colonies. So they do have a mestiza or mestizo group, but it's not the prevalent mixture. And actually, what was really interesting was, so my wife and I took DNA tests when we first got married.
I'm going to do that to my lady too. I can't wait to do it.
Do it because you're going to find that. And what we did, I suggest this, is we wrote down what we thought we were before we took the test, and then we compared it to what it actually was. And what it turned out, I mean, if you saw my wife, but my wife is like 20% Chinese and 8% Vietnamese, and the rest is Filipino. And it makes sense because one of the first visitors to the Philippines beyond the group that they came from in Taiwan was the Chinese. The Chinese, I think, come or show up in the 10th century. And then later the Indians come in the south of the Philippines. But the bottom line is that the Filipinos are not that mixed racially with the Spanish as a group. They're more mixed with Chinese and with the Indians. And so,
or Melanesians, whatever they want to call Melanesians.
Exactly. So it's an interesting thing that how they implemented Las Castas there. And also interesting with the Filipinos is that a lot of the Spanish that came there were actually in New Spain, which is now Mexico. So you have colonies of Mexicans that were brought to the Philippines and Filipinos that are in Mexico. That it was this thing called the galleon trade. And so there's this crazy mix of stuff that they have there. You know, like, well, I won't get into it. I'll let you guys bounce off. I just brought that up to have the topic.
Yeah, I can't wait to get her tested as well, because her family has the Tagalog Spanish background, and I know her dad is Visayan, but they also part of the Igorot, which is the headhunters that were on the island. You know, so I'm real interested in seeing how they dilute that out. But go ahead, gentlemen. I don't want to, change the subject. We are on, basically hitting the wall.
Oh man, I thought that was dead. You know what I'm saying? Once Black Man Travels left, I thought that was dead. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
it's like,
hey, it is what it is. You're gonna age in, you're gonna age out. It's how you accept it. But I don't think we hit walls. We just opt out and say, hey, it's time for us to retire and slow down. I don't think I ever hit a wall because I'm always working on something. Even in early retirement. That's why I always say I'm semi-retired. I'm not retired. I don't think I would ever retire. I'll always be working at angles and growing. Yeah.
Especially with this,
but not to the level of not to the level of being so competitive that you're competing against a whole industry as an individual in retirement. That's the point of retirement, is to calm down a little bit, work smarter, not harder. You know what I mean? God,
but even the competitive angle, I meant to bring that up when Black Man Travels was here. The competitive angle. I mean, I don't agree with the notion I'm going to be competing till you die. And even when you go out here, when you're talking about like getting women or whatever, dudes are like, yeah, man, I'm gonna get her from that. I'm gonna take her away from him, or I'm gonna do this. Like, they're competing with these dudes. I'm like, nah, man, like womanizing or being out here in the game trying to find trying to find your wife. It's like playing golf, bro. You keep your own score. You're not necessarily competing against me. Right? Like, my game is kind of like sitting at the blackjack table. Like, what you do really doesn't affect what I'm doing mathematically.
Right.
So I don't see it as competition. But that's coming from a guy who does well. And even that's coming from a guy who has the confidence and the ability to go in and make something happen. I can go out and holler. So I tell dudes all the time, like, man, don't compare yourself to what I'm doing. Don't look at me and see I'm getting all these women and I'm getting these contacts and they're talking to me and you're seeing choosing signals and they're touching me and hugging me and all that. Bro, don't worry about me. Work on your game. Get to the point where you're happy doing whatever you're doing.
Yeah, you gotta be you.
It's not a competition thing. You know what I mean?
Finance,
I find it interesting.
Go ahead, finance.
I find it interesting that we can obviously see that the transition between the value of a man and him not able to hit the wall is, let's say, semi-retired, and he's always still working towards building himself. Nothing has to do with his ability to actually be able to have kids or be able to do something else that we can mention. And a woman, when she gets older, past the time where, let's say she can have kids, right? And let's say she doesn't even look that good anymore. It doesn't mean that she doesn't have extreme value. Because most men would argue that the value of their wives don't come in necessarily their looks, but their character, their nourishment, and who they are to the community and what they mean to children. So women can be very well seasoned after her age that she's able to rent her children and actually be what? A teacher of the children. She could actually be a nurturer. So there's so many things that still is applicable even past the fertile age or her ability to have and render children. So we have to attribute that too. And somebody could still have those components and still be valuable and not quote unquote hit the wall. But if you keep prioritizing looks, or have a baby, that's not how you prioritize your wives. They bring much more as characters. Their honesty, their integrity. I could keep going.
But if
So
she's your wife, then isn't she out of the conversation? She won.
No,
like
those skill sets. Those skill sets and everything else is still, valid.
So those
and a
skill
woman,
sets,
she doesn't have to be married. Go ahead.
Those skill sets, the skill sets that you mentioned in a single woman. Well, yeah, I agree with you. Those are great skill sets to have. But you know what they called those type women for the Gen Xers and the boomers and all the ones before us? They called them old maids because they were past it. That was kind of like their term for the wall. They were the cat ladies.
Or the leftovers. Yeah.
Right. The leftover women like in China. So, and again, they do have utility and they do have purpose. We're not trying to say they don't have any value. We're not saying that. But what we're saying is in the sexual marketplace, they missed their window. And it's going to be way harder for them to get the guy, again, to try to get the guy they want. Can they get a dude? Absolutely 100% they can get a guy. But will that be the guy that they want? And that's the thing with the wall.
It could be harder, but I wouldn't say it's a wall. You should say it's a bump. It's a curve. It's a corner. It increases it. It raises slightly, but they can still get a man. And then guys are thirsty.
100%.
Let's stop playing this game as if the top edge guys only select specific. That's cap. I'm calling cap. Most of these guys have money, and most of these guys they don't got no friends. They see their whole identity through women, and so they'll capitulate to almost any and everything. You can't take your life and project it on the entire populace because they're not Himothy and they're not you. These are just, and it don't matter that they got money in their hand. It really doesn't. I don't want to hear, I got money, I'm doing this. Okay.
I'm not disagreeing.
Wait, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Money
I'm not
is not
disagreeing with
you. In any of that.
They didn't hit the wall. I saw.
Hit the wall.
Oh, go ahead. You can keep saying the wall for you, but for most guys, don't do that.
But what I'm saying, in the sense that, again, they can't get the result that they used to get. Now, the same guy, the guy with the money, and I agree with you, weirdo with $1 million is still a weirdo. Elon Musk is one of the weirdest individuals I've ever read about. I know people who met him, and they were like, yeah, that motherfucker weird boy. But, there's some say on paper he's a trillionaire. So he's going to be able to pull any woman he wants until he's in the ground. And he could probably do it then too. Right? Like they dig him up and bang him. So it's a different thing. That's all. It's just a different thing. It's not taken away from the women, but it's just a woman in a situation where she's 55 years old. Right. She's 55 years old.
Y'all want to die on this hill, this little specific small case. I get it, but it's really not. I wouldn't say it's a wall, but if it's a coping mechanism, because most men y'all around here cope strategy.
Let's not detract. At the end of the day, there's plenty of women, and it's well documented. Plenty of women that are beautiful way out to 40, 50, 60, now even 75. I've seen some beautiful ass 75-year-old women. Okay, so beauty is not the deciding factor. There are plenty of women that are intelligent over 40. Matter of fact, they get more intelligent and less emotional, so they get analytical. So then they're actually running businesses and empires and everything else just like a man can do. They can add value to their man. There's plenty of women that are older that do that. Nobody's taken away from an older woman's ability to attract. But for what she was put here for, You get what I'm saying? That's the only thing that she can go down on. We didn't say she's going down on beauty. We're saying she can go down on her ability to be fertile, her ability to give children to a man that might not have children at that age and still wants to have children. If you're a man of a certain age and you don't want to have children, you never had children before, then you just go ahead and you get with that person of that age. But if you're someone that's still trying to have a legacy, then you're going to look towards the more fertile aged women.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're saying the wall is only about her ability to have children, then okay, you got it. But that's not the wall. That's not truthful. Why is that the only thing? We're talking about whole human relationships. And then we get in this intellectual masturbation where it becomes this super hypothetical that only exists with one small area of human endeavor, which is reproduction. That's not it. There's a whole conversation. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Thank you, Financial. And I appreciate all of you guys' commentary on this. The one thing I wanted to inject into this is in my view, there's a weird thing that's going on now where women that traditionally, as Mr. Saint just put forward, traditionally were thought to be spinsters and grandmothers are now competing with women that are, in their 20s. And specifically what I'm talking about is some of the things that these older women are coming online and saying are toxic for young women to imbibe. And what it is, in my view, is removing some of the competitiveness of youth from the young women so that the older women can recreate a space for themselves to date in their 45 to 55 period. And that to me is problematic because these younger women are listening to that and not realizing it's an op, meaning that if you take this view or if you take this position, like for example, and I don't want to specifically name this content creator, but let me see how I can raise her. That
just say it, brother. Just say it. Fuck it.
We say names up in here. Yeah, we say names up in here. There's no reason to be scared.
She has a commentary that sounds a lot like Brinkle Brinkle.
There you go.
Oh, Sprinkle. Okay, you talking about Sheer 7? I'll say her name.
That stuff to me is absolutely toxic. And the younger women that listen to that, I think that it's something that makes them less competitive if they actually listen to what she's saying. You're less likely to find a husband listening to what she's saying, which she ironically markets that as, oh, this is how you get your man. You got to do this, that, and the other. You're giving away too many things for free, this kind of stuff. So I don't know. We'll see what you guys think about that. But that's my one little slice is I don't like this thing that's going on in the U.S. where people that were previously thought to be grandmothers and spinsters are now telling young women how they should date.
That's because that's their competition now.
Exactly.
They out here in the market trying to get the same guys.
And that's covered in that book, by the way. Sextinction talks about this very topic. Brother Lindsay brought up a really good point. So when you talk about the sexual marketplace and hitting the wall and all that kind of stuff, right? What's the red pill talking about? Again, this isn't my world. I didn't create the red pill. That's their terms. These are their terms. So you have if you want to be a woman who wants to be married and you want to have a family and all that, it is better for her to do that when she's young. The younger the better. She can get that done in her 20s. Outstanding. That'll be very conducive to having that type of lifestyle. Now, feminism and a lot of women today, modern women are saying, you ain't got to do that. You don't need a man. Go get your education. Go make a bunch of money. Get a lot of letters in front of and behind your name. Once you do all that, freeze your eggs and then find a man. that gets into the sprinkle stuff. That's really difficult, and that's not going to work. Why isn't it going to work? Because just, about 80% of men, if you line up dudes, a million dudes from 18 to 80, the vast majority of those guys, when you ask them what type of woman they want, he's going to say, I want a woman who is, young, fit, friendly, feminine, what age group you're thinking. And it's going to be somewhere between that 18 and like 28, 29 age range. Right. And people say, well, why is that? Because we're hardwired to want to reproduce. Right. And men, we still going to be shooting spermies no matter what age we are. So dudes are going to tend, that's the most desired, the most sought after cohort, those women in that age group. Right. So when the women get outside of that age group and they got all this stuff and they're thinking, well, I make a lot of money and, I got a lot of social proof and I have a lot of alpha traits. These are things that women find attractive. These are things that women want in a mate. They possess all that and they think, well, men going to want me because I have all this stuff. I'm this person. When the fact, like, nah, the man ain't gonna want that. He's gonna want the young girl who has less experience and all that other kind of stuff, and it's gonna be, better suited to have a bunch of babies and blah blah blah. So again, that ties into that wall thing. She gets to a point and she's disappointed, and she's like, damn, now she has to compete with those, her younger self. She got to compete with the younger version of herself, and she's gonna have a hard time being successful. Now, do all women fail or whatever? No, you got people like Abby Phillips and all that. You got some very successful women out here who make a whole lot of money. Right. And they got their husband. But when you talk to them, you find out that they got their husband when they were young. Right. And that's all like a lot of these guys on the red pill are talking about when they're talking to these women. They're like, yo, go out here and get your dude when he's young. Ebony K. Williams talked about this. She's like, yeah, the white girls were in her college. They locked down their dude. They get married. They're over there showing off their wedding rings, whereas the sisters are like, man, ain't nobody getting married. That's Ebony K. Williams' words. That's what she said.
No. I hear. She can. I believe she said that because I believe a lot of people selling lies. Now, I don't care what men say they want. I talk is cheap, walk is everything. So they can sit up here and say
what men say they want, or what women say they want.
What men say they want. Men say they want this type of women, X, 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 and X. I don't give a damn. You can ask them what type of salary they want, and they'll say $1 million if they could have it, but they can't get it. So at the end of the day, it's the same thing. They can say they want fertile and young women, and then you're in the deficit. You're starving like Marvin. You want it more than it wants you. That's not a good position. It doesn't matter about what you want. You have no ability to say what you want when you sit in a position of desperation like that. And most men sit in a position of desperation for the box, for the female's attention, for the female's admiration. It is their sole identity. It is their sole purpose on this universe. It's not to have no dang kids. It's to actually get a woman and get a woman to love them. You laughing. This is real talk, true story.
I know. No, I'm saying it's crazy because you're absolutely right. That's how many guys
all these talking
can't get shit. Can't even smell what they say was.
Smell, get a smile, get a conversation. And so you got people who's teaching a bunch of other people, and you come from abundance. Okay, you the Lion King, but you talking to hyenas, and you don't know how desperate it get when that carcass is sitting there on the floor. Yeah, we all want to eat, but you as a lion, you say, hey, well, I want a fresh kill. The hyenas get what they can.
That's me. Okay, so here I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing. See, here's the thing. A lot of people, they had these discussions, and it has to be one way or the other. I'm hearing what you're saying, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I see that. I see that. The thing you said about the $1 million. A man, you ask a man, he's like, I want to make $1 million a year. All right. Right. So I would say the difference between men and women today is that man will say, yeah, I want to make $1 million a year. Then I counter and say, I can't pay you $1 million, but I can pay you 300,000. Will you take that? Fuck yeah, I'll take that. They're taking that money. They're taking the 300. Bring the woman up. I'm a manifest $1 million a year. I'm supposed to have $1 million a year as my destiny. I can't pay you $1 million, but I can pay you 300,000. Will you take that? No. That's the difference. That's one of the things.
Aspect. The compromise.
Watch this, Ronan. Watch this, Ronan. They don't do that. When we look at the stats and we say that the pay gap is a myth, when we look at it, do women do that when it comes down to earning their paychecks? The answer is no. They do the opposite. So when an employer gives them something, they don't fight back. They don't fight for more. Wait, let me finish my point. Women just don't fight for more. That's the proof. They have zero to no good ability to negotiate. Men ask for more. Men demand more when it comes down to that. So you see how that works when it comes down to economics? When men are sat down with employers and they say, hey, we're going to pay you about 60 grand. The employers are like, the men are like, nah, I'm worth about 80. And I'll tell you why. When they sit down with women and say, hey, we're going to pay you 60 grand, they say, okay. That's
Then
the
why don't they
stats.
do? Then why don't they do that with their dating and mate choosing? Because like I said, I'm not
Because-
disagreeing. And I come from
Okay.
my background's in government, right? My background's I'm a retired FAA air traffic controller, right? When managers in the FAA, they have to negotiate their contract within a certain pay range, and most women, like you said, they'll just take whatever's offered for the job. Hey, this super position costs this much. Okay, I'll take it. The guys are like, nah. I know what the cap is. I need to be closer to the cap, or I won't take it as a negotiating tool. So I agree with you there,
Yeah.
right? But I will also want to make that jump to, choosing. Okay,
Back to relationships.
Ebony K. Williams says, I won't date the bus driver unless he owns the fucking bus, right? And it's like, Ebony, you're wealthy. Why does the bus driver need to make more than you? The same guy in that situation, a dude will snatch a chick right out of McDonald's dropping fries if she's fine enough. I don't give a damn how much she ain't got to own the restaurant. She ain't got to be CEO.
It hasn't always been like that. But go ahead, Lindsay. Go ahead.
This is, because you touched on something that a lot of men don't want to talk about, which is the shadow side of this dating. The reason why I don't want to refer to the specific person, but there are men who are willing to do transactional relationships with these women, and that's why the women, when they date men, demand that they're competing against a ghost man, meaning that they have this transactional thing that they're doing, and then they have their dating frame. And so the guy has to own the bus because they know that they can get the transaction guy to give them a lifestyle without the commitment. So that's what is really happening is you've got, how do I talk about this stuff?
Man, say them names.
Wait,
don't worry
you
about
gotta,
it.
wait. You gotta, listen. You gotta understand. Lindsay is a lawyer, so he's always looking at the angle of I don't want to get sued or held responsible.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
But I'm sure we're outside of any jurisdiction that he's
Legal
like practicing
disclaimer.
law in.
Yeah. Like, how can I word this without offending anybody?
There's certain stuff. There's another world, the dark side of relationships that's transactional. And most women,
I don't call it dark.
Well, okay.
It's part of life, it's dark back then.
I call it the light.
Yeah, that's part of life.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
that men don't always realize there's this transactional part that's also going on. It's like the McAfee security system that's running in the background. So when you are looking to date some of these people, that you don't, at least when I was a younger man, I did not realize, I saw this thing going on, but I didn't realize how it worked. That the deal that's being offered to you as a young man with less resources is not the same deal, although it's the same woman at that same age that she's offering to somebody with resources. She's got both tracks running at the same time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So,
she's multitasking her ass off nowadays.
And so if you don't know that there's this other, like, she walks through a door and there's another set of men that she could get a lot of the things that she wants just transactional. She doesn't need a relationship per se. But if you don't know that that's there, then you're like, why do I have to now start paying for your bills? And I need to buy you a Chanel purse, and I need to, Why is that? And that's because when she walks out that other door, she can walk right over there and get the Chanel purse. She just has to do the transaction.
But of course, what she might transact with you as a young man is something that the old man can't possibly give her. And so there's a give and take, depending on what type of deal she wants to strike for herself. Listen, it was just right there in the conversation. If the gender gap is a myth, women know how to accept the deals that they accept because they do it all the time. They don't demand more from corporate America. But when it comes down to relationships, let's go back to it. But when it turns for relationships, why don't they? Because you're thirsty as all outdoors. Capitalism ain't that thirsty. They ain't giving out $1 million to everybody. But you guys are giving out your $1 million to every broad. Every broad that exists with a post can get some money, can get some attention, can get some likes, can get your energy, can get your time. And so in that position, they have the higher advantage and they have more negotiation in the deal. That's it. You desire what they want more than they desire what you got to offer. And guess what? The funny part about it is they desire what you got, but you so dumb and so lost in lust that you'll give up whatever you got to get what they got. So in that term of the negotiation deal, they just got the position on you. Because again, the dark truth of transaction, again, it proves my point. Men are in love, women are in business.
I mean, that's fine. There's some dudes out there in business. There are some dudes out there in business, but again, going back to the wall, the woman who was able to negotiate the absolute best deal for herself on her terms with the highest tier people gets to a certain point where she can't do that anymore. She can still give really good terms with people of a lower tier. She's not going to be alone. She can't get the Kellys, she can't get the Birkins, but she's still getting the Chanels, right? She's still getting good terms, but she's no longer getting the great terms that she used to get. That, my friend,
this is how smart women are. This is how smart women are. No. Let me lay down some game on you. This is Western women specifically. They're smarter than a lot of other women. They lays the game on you so good. Let's say that guy that you're talking about getting, let's say he's level 10. Level 10 guy. She got the relationship being the early.
Best. Is that level 10 being the best?
It's being the best, right? Now, let's say she gets, that's one girl. She got level 10 guy. She got it. She didn't, hit the wall necessarily, like you said, right? She's got the level 10 and she's locked in. Boom. Good. All right, she won. She ain't going to hit the wall. She got the guy. Then you got the girl who gets a level 5 guy. Right? And then she leaves him. Then gets another level 5 guy. She won too. Because 5 plus 5 equals 10.
Let's go back.
And both guys, let me just land the plane. Both guys are paying alimony or child support. And they got you.
She won.
What they say, 18 years. 18 years. Got one of your kids, got you for 18 years. And so they lock that in. Watch this. This is smart. They lock you in like that. And then they go to the young bulls. And they get knocked down by the young bulls. So they get the money from the guys. That really wasn't nothing that they wanted to be with in the first place, but they needed the cash, the revenue, and the children. So you paid for the kids, you paid for the lifestyle. Then she goes back, spin the block, go back to the market, and gets what she wants, which is the burning desire, the guy she really wanted, young, hot, and attractive young boy. And he gonna give it up anyways, because he just wants some, period. So she can still create and cultivate the life she wants. So I don't see the wall. You keep thinking that women really want you men that long. They don't. They say it. Listen, they run a game on you, but they don't want y'all. So the wall, what you call is, you don't get to keep the man that you want. They don't want y'all. Even when they get the man, they decide they don't want him no more.
I'm not disagreeing with you a little bit.
This is what I want you to think about. To get on the yacht or to fly private, what does a woman need to do? I know what a man needs to do. Makeup. Right? So a man to fly private, right? That plane flight, depending on what it is, $30,000, $60,000 for one flight. He is working day and night building. The woman that's on the flight with him, what did she have to do?
Be pretty.
Makeup.
She don't even need to make up.
No, I don't think she got to be pretty. It's makeup, because most girls don't look pretty. They just look better with makeup.
We just had the Grand Prix at Monaco. To get on the yacht in Monaco, what does the woman need to do? I know what the man needs to do to be on the yacht. What's the woman need to do?
Show up.
And Monaco,
She got to put on the makeup. She got to put on the makeup.
I'm a F1 guy. Hey, Lindsay, I'm a F1 guy. And, you know, that's on the bucket list. I want to do Monaco. You know what gets me every year with the Monaco thing? It's that damn helicopter flight. It's that damn helicopter flight. If you ain't pulling up in the yacht, you got to fly in on a helicopter. And it's just like, I got to go do what you're saying. I got to go work really, really hard. But guess what? The woman going to be in the helicopter with me. What's she going to have to do? Sit there.
Exactly.
She ain't have to do shit.
Show up.
I'm only bringing this up. I was talking to one of my younger cousins, and he was telling me, you know, about he was dating this young woman who is an esthetician. And he said, he told me, because I had been telling him, hey, man, there's this other door that's going on. You got to know that that's there. And he said, girl, you know, she's got a fancy luxury car, and she's got a fancy apartment, and she just came back from Grand Prix. And he was like, wait a minute, how are you doing this as an esthetician job? And that's when he realized that the other door is there.
Who cares? What are y'all talking about? Like, unless you were. Wait, let me just say this. Let me say this before we move back to DL. Let's say that's true. Why would we even, like, the red space? Y'all be cracking me up. Y'all sound like y'all want to be Instagram broads. First of all, I know what the man has to do. That's why I be on the yacht. I'd rather be the owner than to be somebody who's just a guest. I don't care what the woman has to do. I don't care that I have to work. I own the yacht. And guess what? I can own other yachts. And guess what? I go on other ones. And guess what? You're not invited this time. So your future and whether your experience on a yacht or off the yacht is determined by me. And so I wouldn't want to be in that position in life. I'm just a man born as a male. I don't think about if I was born as a woman and her ability to just wear makeup and get on a yacht. I don't give a damn about that. I'm not focused on that. Like, you just a guest, homie. Like, don't get beside yourself. Name off the list. Security. Hello. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the heck up out of here. So why would I even worry about what women do and they get on the yachts? And that's some incel losers in the corner looking at girls on yachts and being like, they get to go on the yachts and I don't. Bro, get your money up. You could be on the yacht too, dummy. Because guess what? All high value men or other great men that know that man are on the yacht too. But just get your own yacht.
The point I was making was that there is a wall to where you aren't getting on the yacht anymore as a woman.
No, they still getting on that yacht. No, Lindsay, you got it messed up. But okay, all right,
no, okay, and brother financial,
all right,
and brother,
all right, cool. Well, look, all right, you right, all right, believe that.
Let me get in.
Believe what you want to believe.
Let me get in real quick, brother financial. Hopefully, you don't own the yacht because we all know if it flies, floats, or fucks, you gotta lease it. We know that, right? Hopefully, we all can agree on that. Don't buy a yacht or
I rent it, but guess what? The difference, I invite who I want to. When you're rich, you don't think like a lower man who only worry about whether the girl look like this. Rich guys don't care, man. Fat women be running up the money.
We're not even disagreeing with you. We're not disagreeing with you. You're on the tangent. We're not there with you.
Aspects of
we're not there with you.
I missed the point. I always miss the point. Y'all never missed the point.
So here's the thing.
I always miss the point.
Let's go back to your.
He's talking about owning a depreciating asset.
Let's
I
go
got
back
that.
to
Yeah,
he understands. No, he understands that, brother Ronan. He understands that. Let's go back to your example. You said the first woman was knocking, she was getting the 10s, the highest tier guy. And then you started talking about other women who were getting the 5s and running their game. And that was a good game. I ain't mad at them. The women doing that, who do that, I ain't mad at them. Never hate the player, hate the game. Right. But let's go back to the first woman. She was getting the top tier guy. She was on the yachts, private jets. She's in Monaco. She's in Milan, right? She's in Macau. How long can she do that? Not having to pay for it herself.
Maybe. If she doesn't get tied in before,
right? right? How long can she do that? And the moment she can no longer do that,
she better have a man lined up that's putting the ring on it.
Exactly.
But guess, watch this. Watch this.
And that's all we're saying. That's all we're saying. That's all
I'm
we're
about
saying,
to,
bro.
I'm about to lower the boom. I'm about to lower the boom. I'm about to lower the boom. How many of you men, hold on, I'm about to lower the boom. You hit the wall. How many of you men will never be on a yacht? And that's the realistic thing. So you can make fun of her from not being able to go back on a yacht because she's old. But your busted, dirty, recessed chin self have never been on a yacht. So you can make fun of somebody and say, hey, you hit the wall. But most of you guys will never be on the yacht also. Y'all will never experience that.
We're talking about the wall, though, right? That's all we're talking about.
Again, okay. So again, if the man has never been on a yacht, he has hit the wall then. If the mark is getting on a yacht, she was able to get on a yacht. She's in her prime. And you say, well, she can't anymore. She ugly and old. She a hag. She can't get on a yacht. Okay, but your recessed chin self, you never got on the yacht.
That dude.
And you'll never make money.
Because that dude was never at that level. The point is,
you never made money.
You were there.
That guy was never.
You were never there as a man. You were never there.
So he doesn't count. He's not a part of that. He didn't hit
exactly, and that's most men. That's most men.
Okay.
You can say he didn't hit a wall.
He didn't.
It don't matter. Okay, guess what? Because no, wait, hold on. Now you're really just talking about a wall. This is the funny part. This is where thinking helps you guys evolve big time. Please, men, think. Use your brain. First principle. Elon might be weird, but he's right on one thing. It's called first principle. You creating this whole stupid term called the wall to explain, yeah, the girl could get on a yacht, but when she get old, she can't get on a yacht. Not realizing the whole time that your recessed chin never got on a yacht and will never get on a yacht. But you like, well, I ain't hit the wall. Okay, cool. You right. You never hit the wall, and you also never got on a yacht, and you also will never have that experience.
Let's take the yacht
regardless
away.
of what you call it, the result is the same.
Let's take
nah. Don't try to take the yacht. Don't try to take the yacht away. Now that I got your head and I'm jamming you, now you want to take the yacht away. Okay, cool.
I need to take the yacht away so you can understand the point.
Look, move the goalpost. Move the goalpost.
I'm not moving the goalpost. I'm trying to get you on the football field. You're playing baseball. I'm trying to get you on the football field. Right? Let's not just lose. Okay.
Now you just change the names. Okay.
No.
Forget the yacht. Do something else. I'm gonna hit you there. Do something else.
The issue is that it's not a participation trophy game.
Right.
That the assumption is that it's only going to be the top 30% that are going to achieve anything. The 70% are going to have regular lives. And so it's moot to them about, to your point, financial, it's moot to them in general because they're never going to live that life. But for the men that are in the 30%, there are levels to this game. And to not understand. So what I'm saying is that a lot of men are going to be unsuccessful with women as a general principle because of how this works, how the game is played, the rules of the game. But if you're in the 30% that's in abundance with women, there are levels to that. And that even within those levels, it has to do with the value add that you have. So like my cousin, he is a young man coming up in IT. He's doing well. He's having success with women. What he didn't realize was that an esthetician that was hot could go to Dubai and go to Grand Prix. He had to go through college, through graduate school to discipline himself with his all of that, right? Just to get to the level he's at now as a young man. He's in his 20s. And the woman that he took out for a couple of dates just dropped on the date. I was at Grand Prix. And he's like, wait a minute, what the
financial.
Let me say this real quick. Let me say this before we dig any deeper in this. I just want to say this. In any conversation we have, it's for the general public. Nobody's attacking anybody on the panel. But my biggest thing is to the people that are listening is never envy anything you couldn't do yourself or achieve. Okay? And if you can't get it on your own, don't worry about what the next man can do and what she's taking advantage of. That's part of life. If you have that driving desire to want to go and get a yacht, then you figure out the pathway to go buy a fucking yacht. Other than that, if somebody else has an enjoyable time on a yacht, who gives a fuck? Live your life the best way you can. Extend yourself as far as you want to or not. Challenge yourself to do more. You know, but sitting there pocket watching somebody else getting on this or doing this and the other thing, who really cares at the end of the day? Is it helping you enrich you? You know? So that's the biggest thing. Well, we might have these conversations where we're talking about this, that, and the other. I don't really care because those are not goals that I have in my life. My ultimate achievement is not to do certain things, is to live my life to the fullest and enjoy every last moment of it. Because there's too many years where I've been focused on way too many other things, you know, and not myself. But again, continue the conversation.
So we're going to switch the yacht out with White Castles, right? We're going to switch out the yacht with White Castles.
Not White Castles.
White Castles, right? So, all right, you got a woman in town. She's the hottest of the hot, man. Everybody loves her. She's amazing. And whenever she goes to White Castles, no matter which White Castles it is in the whole state, she gets a free cheeseburger. Every time she pull up the White House, here you go, free cheeseburger. Here you go, baby. Here you go, free. One day, she's going to pull up to White Castles, and they're going to charge her the 35 cents or 55 cents or whatever. I don't even know how much they White Castles cost. I ain't had a White Castle in probably 50 years.
I think you know what I'm saying? 55, 75 cents the last time I seen it in Vegas, but
there you go. So, and she's going to pull up, and they're going to charge her. And she's gonna be, what is this? Like you always, that's how much it costs for your cheeseburger. But don't you know who I am? I'm the hottest of the hot. You ain't the hottest of the hot no more. Little Sarah is. So Sarah getting the free cheeseburgers. You gotta pay now. That's the wall. And that's all I'm saying. You know, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Like I said, it's the game. I didn't make the game. Hell, I didn't make these terms. I didn't create the wear pill. I didn't create the man on swamp.
Let me say mine.
Hold on. I gotta read this. I gotta read this because this is one of the hosts of the Lions Den. Even though he can't be here, he was flying back to the DR, meet up with the fam. He says Kim Kardashian got 4 kids, a sex tape, and a list of dudes, divorced millionaires, and she got to Monopoly with Lewis Hamilton. I don't get it.
She getting banged. She getting banged by Lewis Hamilton. She getting banged by Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, Monaco.
All right, so
Monaco.
She's in Monaco.
Let me tell you about the other story because I had to come on the screen for this, man. Let me tell you about the other side of this.
Hold on. Salute to the setup, man. Salute to the studio, fam. It's looking good.
I'm trying to be like you one day when I grow up.
Don't do that.
So let me tell you about the man's wall, right? Now, there's 2 sides of this story. Let's not worry about the story that the brother just provided. That was a good story too about the woman, right? She showed up for the burgers a little bit later, and they said, "Hey, you're gonna have to pay." So that's the woman's experience of the wall. Now, the man's experience is gonna be, you know, he always got charged at that price from the jump, right? He never got the discount. But then one day he comes back in. He says, "Hey, can I get that burger?" And they say, "Hold on, you got to pay." He said, "No, I'm the owner." Now, for the men who don't do the work, what I call hitting the wall, your raggedy self, the price went up and you still paying. You'll pay all your life for the same burger, your whole life. Then you'll be crying about inflation. So you have a wall too.
My brother.
I'm not disagreeing with you. It's different from men. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. The vast majority of dudes will never know what it's like to have dinner at Carbone's or Mr. Chow. You know what I mean? Hell, they ain't never heard of these fucking places. The vast majority of men out there. Oh, bro, man. Listen, we'll talk.
Maybe I'm overseas. Maybe I'm overseas.
Well, I mean, shit. You can go like There's let me see, overseas, Mr. Chow. Mr. Chow's in London. They're in Bahrain. But yeah, I don't think it's anything in the East. I don't know where you at though. But anyway, I don't want to get off subject. My bad.
Go ahead.
It is hard. It is difficult for me to gotta do the work. That's one of the things, like in the red pill world, when I'm over there, I'm like, hey man, y'all gotta do the work. I tell them, like, I don't want to talk to you guys who just over here talking shit because you ain't never had pussy since you came out of pussy, and you gonna sit here and dunk on these women on Fresh and Fit, right? And on the whatever podcast, you gonna sit here and dunk on these women, talk all this shit to these women, then you gonna turn around and you gonna take your last $100 and DM it to these chicks. I ain't got no respect for you. You're a fucking quitter. They didn't hit the wall, bro, because they didn't even get into the game. You gotta be out there first before you can even talk about hitting the wall. Hitting the wall means you can't do it like you used to. I mean, who's the GOAT? Best quarterback ever, right? Tom Brady. Bro, he hit the wall. Brady want to keep playing. He just can't do it. He hit the fucking wall. He didn't quit. The skill set ain't there no more. He's still the GOAT though, but he did hit the fucking wall. Otherwise, he'll still be out there. Right? That's all we're talking. That's all I'm saying. I agree with you about these dudes. Yeah,
that is the wall.
But he didn't quit.
You said he never got in the, or let's say you say the guys never got in the game. Yes, they did. There's no guy alive. Let me lay my plane. There's no guy alive that's alive and not trying to make his way. He has to. But if he doesn't prepare himself and move smart, then he's going to put himself in a situation where he's going to hit that wall, which is for a male 80 years later, 30 years later, you're still doing the same dead-end job and you got nothing for an exit strategy and no retirement plan. That is the wall, what it is for a man. So men know what it is. He's in the game. He's in the game every day. This is where Brother Financial, that's out here that's not working at all. There's no man out here that's just not working at all. Most men are actively working.
We got smoke now. But we finally got something we disagree on. Brother Financial. There are so many dudes out here who aren't even trying. They're writing fucking books about it. They got CNN and Fox and BBC and Al Jazeera trying to figure it out. What is wrong with these motherfucking dudes who aren't working, living in their mother's basements, don't even know how to talk to people? This is the thing now today. When we grew up, it wasn't a thing. Everybody was in the game. Every fucking body. The nerdiest, lamest motherfucker was in the game. He knew how to, he got some.
You had a side hustle somewhere doing something.
Doing something. But today, that's no longer the case. So now I disagree with you completely. There are guys that I'm seeing them. Anecdotally speaking, I'm seeing them, and the numbers bear it out. The scientists are seeing it.
I just want to add to your point, saying they also have these guys in Asia.
Wow.
Yeah, but this is 33%. So I get it. I'm not mad at you, but it's 33%. So let's put it in its proper context. That's not majority.
I just wanted to throw this Financial. What Saint said, it's a global phenomenon that they have them in Japan, they have them in China, they have them in South Korea.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I just want to add that's 33%. So let's not act like it's doom and gloom. Okay.
The numbers say it's 33% of men. Well, it's 33% of men. If that's the stat you're looking at, 33% of men between the ages of 18 and 30 something who had no sexual contact or whatever in the past year. That's the stat.
I was talking about jobs. I was talking about jobs. The people who weren't working. I wasn't talking about sex. We were talking about jobs. Like you said, people are not working. They're not doing anything. And then so I looked it up. Approximately 30% of men in America, 16 to 58. Are not working at all, and I went with full-time employment because I didn't want any like weirdo stuff. So
right, and well, we got to look at the whole thing. I would say, I think if we start throwing in some like people who are underemployed, right? People like, because they'll count your little bullshit as Uber Eats job is a fucking job.
Well, no, I just said full-time employment. So that people who are partially working in the night, that's a part of the 33%. So it's not like they got no job, but it's not just serious full-time work.
Okay, or we can look at at how much they're making. But my point is, the vast majority of these dudes that I'm encountering, and this is anecdotally speaking, the vast majority of dudes that I'm encountering, right? These are guys in the red pill space that just fucking gave up, and they don't know how to.
They came to you.
Well, they didn't come to me. They're just around me. They're there to cheer on other people or whatever. They're they're groupies, and they just get kind of they'll be at an event just so they can hang out with Coach Greg Adams or hang out with Fresh and Fit or hang out with whoever you name the thing. They're spending their money to come down to these events, and they don't even. Fresh and Fit had a yacht party. It was really like this big fucking boat, right? And they had this big party, and they charged a lot of money to get on there. And they had the boat. It was 60% women, 70% women, and you had all these dudes on there. And it was like none of them dudes were trying to talk to the girls. They were all clustered up together, talking to each other, playing chess, talking shit, watching the live stream. Like you're at the party, you paid to be here, and you looking at the fucking live stream, motherfucker. You here, right? These are the dudes that are out there. And I say to those guys, they can't hit the wall, man, because they're not even in the fucking game. I can't give them credit to say you hitting the wall. They ain't even in the fucking game.
What I'm trying to say is they're still getting up and they're going to work. They're still pursuing, even if the small goal is small. What I'm saying is that they're not pursuing and getting themselves in a position where they'll be in a great position. If we're talking about being on a yacht and experiencing life in a new type of. So what I'm saying in the man paradigm, they'll live life struggling check to check the majority of their lives. And so I'm seeing that as a form of hitting the wall for men, because it's different for women. We got it. We can't even get pregnant. So there's no even reason to go there. Our biology works differently. So that's why they're hitting that wall. So, okay, cool. Let's take that out of the equation, because that's uncontrollable at the end of the day. But you can control by getting married early. I hear that, right? But when it comes to these other aspects, men have their own issues and they have their own form of hitting the wall. We can say male hitting the wall. We can call it whatever we want. I don't care. If y'all want to die on the hill that hitting the wall only means this, and it's specifically women, you got it. What is the form of men having their own form of hitting the wall? What are you willing to call it if it's not going to be called
failure?
Okay, so men fail. And women don't fail too.
No, I would say this. I would say
they feel different.
I would say there's only, I would just making up numbers here, guys. I'm just making these numbers up. There's no stats on this. I would say of all the men that are out there, only 20% of those dudes qualify to hit the wall. There's only 20% of the dudes out there, normally the dudes that women want. Those are the guys who even qualify to be able to say that they hit the wall at some point. I would say the rest of the 80% of them dudes, they're fucking quitters, bro. It's this shit right here. You want to quit? Then fucking quit.
On me? Well, are you? Then quit.
That's why I look at them off. They're fucking quitters. So we got overlap here.
Cool.
We got overlap here. I look at it as motherfucker on the team. Like, I don't give a fuck that the water boy hit the wall. Like, you trying to say, well, the water boy hit the wall. Fuck the water boy. He ain't a fucking football player. The only motherfuckers that can hit the wall is the motherfuckers who made the team. Right? That's how I look at it. Now, if the water boy want to try out and fucking make the team and get out here and get some, then he's eligible at some point to hit the wall. That's how I look at it.
Is Vernon frozen, or is that just me?
I'm frozen. My camera be freezing.
Hit the wall.
Yeah, he froze.
Oh,
yeah. My camera hit the wall a long time ago.
I agree with Saint's thing, and there are relative degrees of it. You know, one of the things also is ordinary income versus asset growth. You know, that if you're an ordinary income person, that's a different game than the people that are living off of assets. So, you know, it's an interesting discussion, but I kind of agree with what Financial was saying in the sense that, you know, a lot of people are not going to, a lot of people that are critical of women are not in the game the same as describing. And I think that it's actually like a psychological reaction. Like, they know they're not in the game, Saint. So then their whole thing is, I want to pull you down with me on bullshit. You know, I'm going to throw a lot of trash at both men and women because I know I'm not in it, right? And I've given up.
Facts.
But
Facts. Speak on it, Lindsay. Facts. You're speaking vibranium now. That's what it is.
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting because what Saint was saying, I don't think about those guys at all. They're spectators. They're not.
Exactly.
They're not actually in the competition of life, really. So
Well,
who cares what they think? Because they're not risking themselves to fail. You know.
And I'll speak.
No, go ahead.
No, I was trying to speak directly because I'm looking at the title. Men versus women, hitting the wall. Who really has it worse? Now, let me just hyper focus on who really has it worse. Listen, you can listen to everybody on the internet, but this is what I'll tell men, and I know this is real. You got it the worst. Because society ain't going to look to help you when you're homeless. Society ain't going to care when you want to delete you. I'm telling you. There's too many institutions that are here to protect and provide for women. So they good. They don't want to be a mama? No problem. They're brave for giving up the baby. You don't want to be a daddy? You're a deadbeat. They don't care. You got it worse. So you can sit around and say you're going to die alone with a cat, or you're going to hit the wall, nobody wants you. As Lindsay would kind of allude, it's a coping mechanism, guys. If you don't really get on your stuff and get in the game, at least don't quit. Let me go to what DL says. Don't quit then, right? And get in the game. You're gonna have it the worst. And you can name anybody, whatever you want to on the internet, but real life talk, true story. You will live the worst amongst anybody, and nobody will care. I don't even care. I'm gonna double down on that. So
yeah, my man Cody is king.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my man Cody is king. That's one of the cats from MySpace, man. Shout out to you, bro. You know, like his chat right there, that one right there. You know what I mean? Okay. Like, I think now we're all in line. When I read the title, you know, men versus women hitting the wall.
It was a trick title. I already know men had it worse, but I was waiting for you guys to say it.
Well, but here's the thing: when I read that title, men versus women hitting the wall, who has it worse? I'm thinking, after you hitting the wall, who does it? You know, who has it worse? Hitting the wall, not in life. Of course, men have it worse. It's hard. It's just hard to be a man. That's whatever. But I would argue when a woman hits the wall, especially, you know, like the women we were naming earlier today. You know, when Tyra Banks hit the wall, I would say that was worse for her than, you know, when some dude, like some rich dude, hit the wall, or some former. You know, one day Brad Pitt will hit the wall. Right. And I would think that him hitting the wall is not as bad to him as the Tyra Banks of the world and the Vivica A. Foxes of the world hitting the wall. Because as a man, you kind of know, like, the fucking shoe is going to fall at some point, bro. Like, you kind of know, like, this shit ain't going to last forever. You know what I mean? Like, but women, shit, since they were fucking 8, 13 years old, they're getting so much attention and all this shit. And then all of a sudden it stops. That would fuck my head up, bro. I ain't going to lie to you.
Yeah. It fucks up their ego.
Well, the big thing that has changed is that the marketplace has become.
I had to dodge bullets. I had to come back alive from PTSD. I don't give a damn what they feel. I'm looking at reality. Just because it's kind of like perspective. Their perspective is weak. But there's other women who've been through more hard struggles and would see that as a joke. They're like, I don't care if my looks are gone, because they've been through real life, real talk, true story. So they can have perspective. But you can't make an argument to me that me losing my buddy in combat is the same as you losing your hamster at the age of 5. Get out of my face with that. So I don't care how your perspective is and what's worse or not, right? But the thing, I did say about it being worse for men, but here's the one thing I didn't say. The upside is much better. Please believe it. If you do the work.
Brother Lindsay,
greater than any woman who looks good and marries the girls. It don't matter. There's nothing greater than being a man on this earth. Even watch this. Feminists even say that. Feminists is on my side when it comes to this, right? Because they say men are high value. Men got all the things and they could do whatever they want. They could sleep with all these women. Men could make all the money and they make all the money. She's chatting stuff. What she's saying is a small segment of men are living life on super, super great. The vast majority of men are moving garbage. They don't have nothing to do with no dang, what is it called, patriarch. They ain't got no chips. They ain't got no power.
So they're talking about a specific small group of men that are living this life on excellent. And if you put in the work, you can live life on excellent.
Yeah.
So it could be worse or it could be the best. And men often, if you guys know, right, we know this, men sit on the extremes of both. We're the most geniuses, and allegedly we have the most doofuses. Now you're going to have to ask your question, which side of the paradigm do you want to live on? But you can make it happen.
Brother Lindsay was trying to say
something. I don't
something.
give a damn if she's on a yacht. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't, I agree with what everybody is saying, and we're kind of all saying the same thing, different parts of the same story. I think it's really important for people to give themselves their best chance to win. And some of that is limited by your where you're stationed in life, and some of it is your mindset, and what you want to do is wherever you are in that station in life to get a little better each day. And if you can do that, then you will see changes. But it's not easy to do. If it was easy to do, then everybody would do it, and everybody would get a participation trophy. And that's unfortunately not the way that life works. That people get more or less what they put out. And there are exceptions to this. There are other reasons why it might not play that way. But those are the caveats. Those are not the rules. And so it's an interesting query that you put forth, Ronan, because it makes the reader think.
Yeah, because the biggest thing here, you got to say it's not level set. There are different expectations based on sexuality. Women have a different expectation to level set what they consider, them hitting a wall versus a man, where he has to continue to be a provider, protector. He has to rank up. It's so much more than a man is expected to do than a woman. So the fall is harder on men, and there are less resources to help that man up. He's got to want to get up and do it on his own, because nobody's going to help him up. Where if a woman falls, there's all kind of reinforcement and help and systems and things that are in place for that woman to take advantage of. So it's a faster route of recovery for a woman, I would say, more than a man. So the man is going to actually take the hit harder, but we're expected to. But yeah, like we've all been saying, a man can always get back up and excel. You just don't give up. And that's what we kept on amplifying in this conversation, is the man that gives up is the failure.
Yes.
Or
and I would say this. Too, with respect to men getting help, especially, military cats, get people who play sports and all that.
Mm-hmm.
A man does get help if he builds the right team, if he builds the right tribe, the right gang, the right whatever you want to call it. You guys know as Marines, and I know as a paratrooper, if I go down, my people gonna pick me up and run me out of there, right? But
you got a band of brothers.
We don't have, right? It's gonna be men who pick you up and run out of there. No woman can pick you up and run out of there. She can try to drag you out of there, but y'all both probably gonna get KIA'd, and that's fine if she tries it. And I'm not trying to throw shade on women, but normally when men go forward and fight, we're with other men, and we're gonna get help, and we got to continue to keep that band of brothers and help one another. But you're right, we don't have. I mean, there's no male abuse shelters. Could you imagine? You go to the police, tell the police that your wife who's 5 feet, 5 feet 1. Exactly. So, but
I want to build on something Saint said, because it was really important. And one of the most important, I shouldn't say most important, one of the things that I think can help get your framing right is that women kind of look at relationships as jobs, whereas men look at them as like a loving commitment. And so the love that a woman may feel towards your relationship is kind of like that job she always wanted. And when she first got it, she was very excited about that job and, you know, told everybody and prayed on it and all this kind of stuff. But at another point, maybe 10 years into the job, she doesn't see it the same. Maybe she still likes that job, but it's not the same job as when she first got it. And men think, well, you know, I did this and I did that, and where's the loyalty and whatever. And they just don't have that same frame about it that men do. And so that's where they get surprised, is where they're like, I really thought you were into this thing. And it's like, no, I've been looking at some other positions I've gone on. What is the job site? I forget what. Indeed.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Indeed. Yeah, something came up.
Yeah,
fellas, I hate it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to say this before you bounced out real quick. Look, and just tell me what you think about it. But I know we talk about that, and we talked about like the women on the yachts and all this other stuff. I've never been, and then again, I'm just helping. This is my prescription. It ain't right for everybody, but I've never been a man who was just like worried about that. You know why? Because when I seen other men, I'm like, well, they put in the work. They deserve it, and I'm happy for them. I'm going to get my time. I'm in the trenches doing what I'm supposed to do, building up my skill set and having a future for myself. So I really wasn't like hung up like, oh man, the girl at my ages, they fly to Dubai. I was like, okay, yeah, and so what? And sometimes they're going to come and get me with me before they go see that guy on the Dubai. Like, so if it is, then I really don't matter. But one thing I would say, I saw the chats, and Cody is King said this. He said, what was it called? Women hitting the wall is devastating. Listen here, guys. Let me tell you what's devastating. I got it right here on my phone. I tell you what, this is why y'all need to go touch grass. This is my brother right here, Combat in Arms. He passed away not too long ago. That brother would die for me. That love that I had for that brother is greater than anything else that you're talking about. That's a devastation. Meeting the man that you don't know from Adam and Eve, meeting your blood brother, not by mother, not by the womb, but a covenant of brotherhood that would die for you and do anything for you. And that type of love is greater than anything else you guys can bring up here on the stage and talk about some devastation from a woman because she's no longer wanted.
You understand what he meant by that, though, right?
That's what happens when you're out here. Go ahead.
You understand what he meant by that? It's devastating. I understand what he means,
but
it's devastating to her.
No, I get
it's
it.
Devastating to her.
I don't care. It's not a real thing. I'm just saying. I get it. But what I'm saying, that's not a real thing. If I say it's a devastation to me because my hamster died, you're not going to put it on the same pedestal as a human life. I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to be like, all right, man, you're a little bit overboard right now. I don't care if it's devastating to you. Anybody can have that perspective in life. Again, you keep falling into her frame. I'm not listening to that. I don't care if it's really devastating for her or not. And it's probably not. She's just playing games on you. So at the end of the day, just focus on what you got going on, young brothers, and how you move on to the forward. Don't worry about what other girls are doing on yachts in Dubai. You'll get your opportunity. Life has always been like that. You would have died in the ditch in the past. So be happy you got your lot that you have today, which is 10 times better than anything from the past. So I'll end on this. I'll land my
the biggest thing is, here's the thing. While we might have empathy for women, it's built into us. Those women don't have the same empathy for you. You sitting here talking about how devastating it is for her to have loss. Don't nobody give a fuck.
Bro, we're answering your question. No. We're answering your question. That was just who really has it worse. That's what that is.
Right. Right. But they wouldn't spit on you. They wouldn't spit on you if they had to. A lot of women don't have that same energy for us that we in turn do naturally for them.
But brother Ronnie, you understand?
No, I'm not taking offense. I'm not taking offense to it. Yeah.
It's not even offensive. We're answering the question. It's like that's what it is. Like, no, I don't think anyone disagrees with what Brother Financial just said or what you're saying right now, what Brother Lindsay said or what I've been saying. Right. We're all this not even overlap. We're in line on this. Right. We're just trying to answer the question to the show. You know what I mean? That's all it was. Right. Kind of drifting off to little things. But here's the thing. I really got to go. But I got to tell you this. Man, this is one of the best panels. This is one of the best panels I've ever been on, bro. Like, and these are the conversations that I'm trying to have precisely for what Brother Financial is saying. For those dudes out there who are talking all these, let's call them the water boys. For the water boys out there who are crying because the cheerleaders are banging the linebackers and the receivers, right? And they crying because they can't get a fucking letter, right? You ain't getting a letter. You ain't a letter man. You're a fucking water boy. Now, if you want to get on the team, come holler at me, right? If you want to get on the team, it's time to do some work. We'll get you there. And when you get there, you're going to realize that, banging, Peggy Rottencrotch over there, who's a cheerleading captain, ain't what you thought it was going to be, but at least you smashed, right? At least you got up in there. Come on in and play the game. You know what I'm saying? But this is where I'm at with the red pill. And I tell them all the time, like,
complaining is not the same as you out there actively doing it.
The water boy can't even sit on the bench. That's my whole fucking point.
Yeah.
He can't even fucking sit on the bench. Bring me some goddamn water and stand there while I drink it, motherfucker. You the water boy. Get off our bench. Right? So that's what I'm saying. Right? To Brother Financial's point, man. I'm not taking it easy on these dudes. I'm giving them the real. The fuck you crying about? Yeah. Right? But I gotta go. I really, man, I wish, hey man, do me a favor.
Hey,
make sure y'all let me know.
Man.
Huh?
Yeah, we have these plenty. Just drop us a note, man. We're always going to do these things. I'm always jumping on a panel or doing our own lives. This is Lions Den. We have a hit and run show. I have Wealth Talks, Legacy Walks. I have about 5 different shows I run, and then I co-host and sit on other people's panels as well. So
I'm about to start bugging y'all, man.
Don't forget to tell him about your show, Not My Girl. He got that too, Saint. So you can go.
Okay, well, hey, look, I'm gonna come holler at y'all for
Not My Girl.
I'm joking. He ain't got no show called Not My Girl.
That's hilarious because I'm like, I'll be on that shit. That's hilarious. Yeah, we got the t-shirts though. You got the merch for it. Go ahead, might as well make a fucking shirt. I mean, make a show. Hey. But fellas, let's do this again. I definitely would love to talk more about travel, more about finance, all that good shit. Shit, I wouldn't mind talking about politics. We got the Marine down here, got the American flag behind his head. I want to talk about that.
Too.
Like what
we do that.
Like what's going on? Like that Carg Island shit is coming about putting boots on the ground. That's y'all. That won't be us.
Video I made? You didn't see that?
I'm gonna go look for it.
I actually have a video. I made a whole video about how the 30 Mu and 15th Mu, and then nobody brought up that there's a third Mu out there because they're already on deployment. There's always one you don't know about. Whenever a conflict goes up, there's always a Mu that you don't know where they're at.
There were rumors out there. They wanted that to be an airborne op, but there are no drop zones there with all the equipment and shit. There's nowhere you can drop them. So I was like, thank God for that. That's not going to be our mission. That's going to be our mission. Anyway,
that's our out. That's our out.
Yeah, that's our shit. I gotta go. I look forward to meeting up with you brothers again. It was truly an honor, man. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Brother.
And I'll keep my eye out. And check me. I'm DL saying, guys, I really want to know podcast, man. I'm on YouTube.
Drop
Instagram,
your link in the back
and
I'll pump you up.
Yeah, I'll sign up for your channel. That's great.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, drop your link in the back and I'll make it hyperlink.
My shit glitching. I'm sorry. I'll put the link in the back before I go. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all soon. You know what I mean? Appreciate y'all really. This is a great conversation.
Yes, sir. Good to meet you.
Financial, bro. You wild, boy. I can't wait to talk to you again.
Yeah, he has no filter.
Peace. Just drop me down. So drop me down for me. I'll be in the back chat for a second.
Just double check it because I put your joints in the back chat. Yeah. Shout out to y'all. Not my girl, man.
Yeah, that shit is funny. You already know how it is. We don't play those games. We don't play reindeer games like that, man. We already seen it for ourselves.
Well, it is 2 p.m. I gotta go too. I gotta go hit the pool.
Yeah, my lady's back, man.
Touch grass.
I'm doing another one of these 8 hours.
This was a great show.
Yeah, I appreciate you stopping up, fam. I really do, man.
Yeah, and Lindsay, don't be coming through with all that knowledge. Nobody like all that knowledge and that history and all that context and all that. Nah, man, that was too much knowledge. It was too much vibranium. We want the low surface stuff. He say, she say. No, I appreciate that because that was.
I appreciate you guys both, and you guys have been putting up a mature travel show for young men, and I appreciate you both. I really think that you guys are making a difference.
Oh, I appreciate it. You know, we you know how consistent we are between me, myself, Fearless, and Black Man Travels. And then also Financial Frontier, we're pretty consistent on our message, and we stay in the pocket when it comes to our belief structure. We don't let nobody throw us off like that. Even if we got to get called Neanderthals and old time thinking, we don't give a fuck about that shit. You know, we're talking to a certain class of people and a certain class of men. And this is a man's channel more than a female, but we do welcome female conversation. So that's not even a problem either.
Thank you both, fam. And Financial, I think it's really important that you keep working on men's frame like you do to get them to see opportunities. You know, that you've been doing that for as long as I've seen you on the internet, at least, 10 years or something like that. So yeah, I think it will eventually get through. And Ronan, man, your family, I appreciate you like that. And I'm glad I could contribute something to help the show. So.
Yes, sir. Always.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Always.
I salute you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. All right, man. It's me and you. And I know you got to go. So, hey, for those that don't know, I do AI, and this is my closing. And we out of here.
Kill the noise, lock the doors. 3 men at the table. No scripts, no retreat, no fear.
Welcome to the Lion's Den.
Welcome to the den, Lion's Den, where the pressure gets heavy and the real stand firm. Welcome to the den, Lion's Den. 3 voices at the table, let the truth be heard. No running, no folding, no hiding behind the fence. Running, BMT, fearless. Welcome to the Lion's Den. First through the gate, let the strategist speak. Calm under pressure, but the structure runs deep. Rolling at the table, every word got weight. Study every system, every motive, every state. Veteran discipline play. Long range sight. Separate the facts from the noise in the fight. I do not chase trends, I examine the frame. Follow the incentive, then expose the game. Build with a purpose. Stand on the code, carry the pressure. And control the load. No empty performance, no counterfeit shine. Rolling in the den, hold the line. Rolling. With the passport stamp, global perspective, every pattern gets mapped. Traveled in an unfiltered, no rehearsed disguise. Seen the world firsthand, so we recognize his lies. Facts in the chamber, context and place. Culture and money examined face to face. Cyber mind sharp, business sense clean. He reads the machinery behind the machine. Receipts for the claim, evidence before spin. BMT brought the world inside the den. Bring the facts. Forward, tighten your stance. Direct with the question, never dodging the chance. Competition in his blood, business in his mind. When the pressure gets heavy, he does not step behind. Challenge every weakness, every gap in defense. Drive the point home with experience and sense. No fear in the voice, no retreat in the chest. Disagreement is pressure, pressure breathe is the test. No apology often, no convenient bend. Fearless brings the challenge inside the den. Never back down. Fearless, never back down.
3 men, different roads, different scars, different codes. 1 table, 1 standard, 1 den. Who holds the line?
Ronan.
Who brings the facts?
BMT.
Who brings the challenge?
Fearless.
Where are we now? The Lion's Den.
Lion's Den, where the pressure gets heavy and the real stand firm. Welcome to the den, Lion's Den. 3 voices at the table, let the truth be heard. No running, no folding, no hiding behind the fence. Zoning, BMT, fearless.
Welcome to the Lion's Den. Check the levels, cameras ready. Microphones live. Ronan ready. BMT ready. Fearless ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are